I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
All right, I'm live. You guys are alive. How's everybody doing?
Hey, good evening.
Hey, everybody.
Let me pause the music. Oh no, I don't know why it's been doing this. My Stream Deck stopped controlling the play pause on Spotify and only the play pause on Spotify.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
It can skip songs, it can do everything else, but it can't do the play pause.
That's so unfortunate. We're just learning a lot of, just a lot of things are being learned on the fly today, I see.
That's totally fine.
I gotta change the room from 1st to 10, because we're not running a 1st to 10 bracket this evening.
I mean, we could, but...
I do have to work tomorrow. I'm really sorry. I'm like, well, I think it would be really funny just to take the day off and sleep in all day since I am too fasting. You know, I'm not trying to die tonight.
But yeah, I'm stoked. This is my first online bracket since last Wednesday, which feels weird that I've had like such a big gap.
And you did have, you know, an entire crossover arc to run.
That is true. That is true.
You couldn't have been relaxing that much.
No, and I got to see some of the our regulars in bracket play offline, which was sick. Axenstar actually took the whole thing, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, I was watching that entire thing that weekend just because like I was holed up in bed, but it was such a good tournament.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he had a third place like curse for offline. But
yeah,
he definitely
I
broke
didn't
it.
either. It wasn't until that post that I was like, oh yeah, Frosty's with third.
Mm-hmm.
But glad he broke it.
Yeah, me too. Before we hop into our matches for this evening, the usual reminder that we do have a match arena. We got a bunch of codes left, 43 codes. The link should be in chat. All you got to do is head over there, click that link, click that blue button on the right-hand side, claim code 25 free cents into the pot. You guys know the drill at this point. We have stretch goals. At 150, top 4 gets paid out. 320, top 6, 660, top 8. And yes, we have the real Rurik on commentary today.
The real Rurik? I didn't know that was a fake one.
Regale, we gave you the wrong password as a joke.
Yeah, I changed it. I changed the password on all of you guys. Give me a second, and I'll add our first gamers. But we are going to see SoulRobba versus Regale first up.
Okay, I really like that the next match overlay and like last week's winner. Like that is so slick.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of TNS recently, and they kind of motivated me the way Spooky used to, where I'm like, oh, I gotta change things up. I gotta get more info there and just kind of try and make the overlays a bit better.
I do like the production updates on that. Like the last couple of things I saw, I was like, ooh. There's just like a small little bit of delight in seeing things that you love get better. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
very good aesthetic.
All right. I just added them, so we should get our gamers in here soon. I'm going to give you guys all the cheers sticker when you're good to start.
All right.
So
I'm going to hop into the lobby and let's see.
I don't... I'm looking at my view here, and it is not... I think there may be something with how it's being output, or maybe I'm just out of my mind.
No, you're not wrong. I also am only seeing the Matcherino on there.
Well, no, I see the Matcherino, but it's like it looks like a phone screen.
You know, I know exactly what's happening. Give me a second. I got you guys. It should have just closed there, right?
It did. I don't want to play games. I don't want to play Discord games. Get out of here.
They are pushing those so hard.
Oh, dude, like, it's unfortunate because like us not accepting those is going to be the thing that pushes them into crypto harder. Also, unfortunately, it is still in that same view.
Oh, what? How? My projector's not even... That makes no sense.
Hey, listen, I'll do this little screenshot of it. That way you see what I see.
I believe you. I believe you. I'm just...
Oh, I know you. I know you believe me.
I know what it's showing you, but I don't know why it's showing you that.
I just want to give you the resources so that way...
Let's see if this... Does that change what you see?
I can see the game now.
Yeah, we can see the game. It's just us. We're getting the cell phone view.
It's showing you the wrong projector. I don't know why.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Did that fix it?
Okay,
Yes.
We see your pretty mug.
There we go.
Yeah, you're...
Okay, so Discord doesn't play nice with studio mode. That is good to know. But yeah, I'm gonna... That being said, we'll just hop into the first game. And now you should be able to see it.
I really like the words of encouragement Miss Bluebee is giving our boy Regale here. But this is interesting. So I've actually not seen SoulRobba with the 6 before.
Oh, I have. I played SoulRobba in a pretty long set last week. They were talking about, wanting a character to, even out some of Charlotta's, more bad matchups. And so they've been starting to pick up the 6, and I always like to see people explore new characters that way.
It's really funny too, because this is not the first Charlotta player who has picked up 6 to alleviate some bad matchups. I am curious if this is going to go the same way where they just become a 6 player.
I mean, could be, but at the same time, like when you get a taste of that command throw into 50%. Kind of hard to give that up.
I mean, I just like being able to jump for free. That's beside the point.
That's true.
Also, Imp, if you, I do not have sound. I promise it's not.
No, I don't have sound either, but it's okay. We are seeing some great corner pressure from Regale, but SoulRobba manages to bust out.
One thing right here, I think unfortunately that was supposed to be 2 U into 236H from SoulRobba, but Regale capitalizes on the bad punish, or on the bad parry, and just takes it home.
Oh, kind of a standoff at the beginning.
I'm curious if there's maybe some connection issues, but that did seem like it. SoulRobba is what I technically qualify as a more aggressive player, so just seeing that kind of like slow stare down at the beginning, just
that could be.
But out of character or not, Regale is very quick. That's one of the big things that we've seen in these last 2 rounds is SoulRobba will overextend. Regale will get directly into the corner with 1 or 2 sequences, and then just SoulRobba guesses wrong each time on some of the Eustace set play, and it goes real bad real quick. But
we might be seeing a Charlotta pick at this point.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see the switch up here, just because that was quick, and that wasn't even one of those things where it's fast, but you know why it went by fast. That was just like, there's no data from that. That's just things went wrong twice in a row and you lost.
Yep. That's a GG go next. And if you're in that situation, go with all reliable.
Absolutely. And we've seen SoulRobba take some pretty good successes with this character and make some decent runs, especially in the beginner bracket, which we have one on Sunday that you can sign up for, by the way.
You too can help prevent BMW from taking another beginner victory. It's time for me to break heat. Time to get banned from everything.
So this is seeing definitely a little bit more. This is definitely seeing a little bit more even in terms of SoulRobba's favor. I say that, and then Regale immediately gets the anti on that. And that's something that SoulRobba has to be really cognizant of in this matchup, especially considering the fact that Eustace has really good anti-air buttons. His 2H catches a lot of different things, and he has the very quick. Teleport into, or sorry, command dash into VP that can also catch, and I've seen Regale's ability just to call out with it.
Oh, great rush, but rush right back. Oh wow, I did not expect the throw right there. I would have gotten caught just the same.
Yeah, unfortunately, SoulRobba drops the pickup on that, and now kind of going back to neutral, both players burning rush, and now we just kind of have to see who flexes out. But SoulRobba busting out with the DP and then immediately into DX overhead. Regale's in a really bad position, especially considering chip out on the table too.
Yep. One or two more specials to chip out. SoulRobba currently waiting for their cooldowns to come back. Charlotta ball back on deck.
Oh, unfortunately, doesn't get the parry.
But it's plus on whiff.
Yeah, Regale a little bit asleep at the wheel, and SoulRobba able to capitalize on that. But yeah, we're seeing a little bit different of a start from SoulRobba this time. We immediately see just kind of the quick dash in, go for the overhead, and start the combo pressure. But Regale slowly working his way out to being able to identify some of the sequences that we're seeing SoulRobba do that. Just able to call out with Eustace's 2U, which is like a pretty decent bust out button in terms of just range. It's really good for catching those block attacks. But
yep, it is the shimmy destroyer.
Oh yeah, it's one of the like the CLSF5 carrying 2MK. Just do not walk on this woman. Things are starting to even up a little bit, and I think part of it is Regale is just very slowly taking momentum back of the set. A lot of those reasons that we've seen him successful when he is just generally in control, he gets the early hit into his damage. But every single time that like SoulRobba, he's not able to contain SoulRobba, the scrambles between both of them just tend to not go his way.
Yep.
But speaking of going his way, manages to catch the bust out there and is able to confirm it into the round. And Regale now on set point.
Oh wow. Roll through, kind of expecting the fireball. Regale not really ready for that roll, and that counter hit sent to the corner. But
that's really interesting. We've seen it both times. SoulRobba will get the throw into the corner, but Regale is willing to mash on wake up and usually is able to confirm out with it. I think it's one of the things that we're not seeing really solid follow-up pressure from the throw from SoulRobba, and it's costing.
Oh, nice. Yep, got the aggressive overdrive. No more chip.
No more chip, but doesn't mean that SoulRobba can necessarily just force his way in. And we saw it right there. Tried to go for the jump and immediately got blown up for it. Didn't do a whole lot of damage with that, but on the right confirm, Regale definitely could have taken that to the end.
Yep. And you know, rush or overdrive always comes at the cost because you lose the ability to rush in neutral. It loses some confirms, but it doesn't matter here because SoulRobba is able to take it and we're going straight into game 3.
And that was the sort of thing I was talking about a second ago when we were talking about just kind of how when Regale loses the containment game against SoulRobba, we see a lot of really funny scrambles and they tend to go SoulRobba's way. And we saw it right there, sat there, kind of stare-eyed, and then immediately SoulRobba got the jump, bad anti-air attempt, and it cost him the round. And we're seeing it a little bit here now. We'll see like a dash-in button confirm from, or not even a firm, just like a dash-in button pressure from Regale, and SoulRobba would just immediately jump out of it, and we've seen really good success with it too. But, oh man, SoulRobba gets the OS. Isn't going to build enough meter for super, but still in a pretty good position, all things considered.
Yep, that was still a great call out because you immediately get rid of a third of the overdrive meter.
Yeah, and we're seeing Regale now, I think trying to kind of build some pressure up and push out, but gets the charge shot, manages to stuff the incoming ball. Regale back on set point.
Oh, yep, catches the roll this time.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. That's what I said we saw that first game against 6, is that SoulRobba would make just the minorest of overextensions, and Regale would immediately punish it and just take control of the set. But now SoulRobba managing to keep the pressure up, but a lot of his hits aren't being capitalized on. We're just seeing a couple of small drops that are just... I think they would have already, like, especially in the last game, like 2 or 3 of those minor drops would probably change the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, this game is so momentum heavy that it's the smallest of things that really make the big differences in the game.
And both of these characters have the ability to snowball off just a bad interaction, but SoulRobba doesn't have a lot of meter and a lot of resources on deck to really kind of play in, so he's going to have to brute force his way in, and it's just, when Regale actually does manage to force those situations or like keep him at a range where it's just not going to work out, SoulRobba just bleeds.
Yep. Oh, but that was a good starter.
Oh, this doesn't have anything to follow up with it, but chases down the rush. Chip isn't an issue. Oh, goes the command throw, the Hail Mary. SoulRobba still in it.
Yep.
We are going to last game, last round. And I think that was interesting. Like I said, that is a lot of the times that we've seen SoulRobba win. It's usually off of like a stray confirm into just a bad series of interactions for Regale, and that was one of them. You know, Regale had everything he needed to close that out, and just absolutely.
Like, even if he didn't get the biggest combo out of it, just not losing momentum got SoulRobba to about half-life. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, unfortunately, doesn't have the cooldowns to follow up with it, but Zappy, Regale, ready for it this time, gets the anti-air into the follow-up, pushes SoulRobba back to mid-screen, and this is where Regale wants him to be. It's something that...
Overdrive? Oh, does that whip? It does. Got a little bit of a hit. No real combo.
Yeah, even with a counter hit, that was still too high to really follow up with it, which is really unfortunate because that would have been SoulRobba the game.
No more OD.
Yeah, this is a really bad situation for Regale to be in, especially with just how much Charlotta chips.
Oh, and the holy ladder to close it out.
I'm actually really surprised at that interaction because, in theory, with how slow Charlotta's DP starts up, you'd think that somewhere along the line of that, the fireball would have hit coming down.
Potentially, yeah, but there is not a lot of health left for Regale here. We're seeing it in the replay.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit of an overextension in terms of using the command dash there. I understand the idea of trying to bait something out, especially from a player like SoulRobba who has shown you that he's willing to swing a lot, but in that instance, SoulRobba was ready for it and called it out with the EXDP.
Yep, absolutely. All right, but looks like up next we are going to have Odd Toaster versus Bloppi the Witch.
I'm actually very excited for this one. This is going to be Zooey Vaseraga.
Ooh, this is going to be funny.
Yep. Odd Toaster, primarily a Strive player, but picked up Granblue in the last month and a half or so. Already
really?
won. Yeah.
Damn.
Cooking.
Yep. They are a Nago player in Strive and started off with Yule in Granblue and then switched to Vaseraga because, in their words, Vaseraga plays Strive better than Strive characters do.
I can definitely see the Vaseraga or the Nago to Vaseraga pipeline. I also play Nago in Guilty Gear Strive, and just like the A to B to C on that, where I'm like, yeah, these characters are kind of like, I don't think that, Voss doesn't have Beyblade. The shoulder tackle isn't anywhere near as good, but
the
even then,
corner pressure is even better though.
Absolutely, Nago's close slash does not move him forward the way Voss does. 5M does.
And we do have a local Zooey player, so I'm definitely expecting Odd Toaster to be pretty familiar with how this matchup works. But we'll see. There's no guarantees in anything in any online or offline tournament.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
And usually with Vaseraga, the very first thing that they are trying to do is find a way to get armor. If you get armor, you win. Yeah, that's the plus L tackle spacing.
Absolutely. Sorry about that. I had a bit of a communicator or equipment failure.
All right, we've got armor. Time for throw loops.
Yeah, this is the really dangerous place, especially for Voss, because he has a couple of different options that he can really sit there and pressure you with. As we mentioned it earlier, he has the plus on block close 5M that can either go into command throw pressure or to itself for a frame trap. Then you also just have what we saw there is the EX stomps, which is just you're forcing RPS after forcing RPS in terms of how this, in terms of what your opponent's having to deal with, and the armor makes that RPS definitely really good.
Yep. Has armor, normal throw to take the corner. Oh, great mash. Still has armor, so you have to. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Goes for
the
the
stance gains armor frame 5, so it can interrupt a lot of normal frame traps. Oh, nice.
I do like that option from Poopy in terms of like trying to bust out, because the position that she was in terms of just back to the corner against Voss, having to block a 50-50, just using that to get out, and like especially in a point where he couldn't OS out of it, I think it's a good decision.
Nice.
Dust loops. What's the mix? Goes for the throw. Excellent. Gets the 6 foot away COVID spacing overhead.
Yep.
Oh man. So immediately round start stomps from Odd Toaster, just trying to, doesn't even want to play from last time. Just swinging early.
Yep. It's a great way to get armor early, and oh my goodness, what an option.
Yeah. Bloopy. That was such a smart rollout, especially from that. And now this is the place that I think Bloopy really wants to be. While Zooey does have like really good mid-screen mix-up, especially with EX Dragon, her corner pressure off of M Dragon and being able to use L Dragon space correctly as well with meter is so explosive. But
Toaster taking the first game here, really showing why Vaseraga can be so skilled.
And that's the big thing, is like Vaseraga is one of the few characters in this game that actually has armored options and the ability just to kind of break through. So you have to really kind of reestablish your gameplay around him and be willing to understand that, like, if you're going for something that's armored or you're working against something, you have to play with that in mind. You have to have moves and sequences in mind that counteract his armor.
In the corner, but has armor, so has bust out options.
Yeah, 100 meter on deck, a good confirm, and we're seeing it right now. This is a bad position for Bloopy to be in. So one thing I actually really do like about Toaster that we've seen a lot of this set is like very good at using properly spaced L tackle to kind of push his way in and also just reestablish some screen space so that way Bloopy doesn't have the ability to really kind of assert herself in it. Like we've just seen, anytime it feels like there's a small knockdown or we see like just enough space where it's going to be hard to react to that tackle with it, Toaster just lets it.
The L stance M keeps the H stance available. Doesn't have armor though, so we won't see it right away unless Toaster is able to get a confirm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of if there. This is especially not a good place for Vaseraga to be in, but we've seen Toaster bust out. Doesn't have the Soul Forger this time, but does have the EX Stomp. Gets the Abare Far 5L into the EX Stomp and just immediately busts out. I'm curious. I wonder, Toaster had the Super Leader on there. I wonder if that would have killed.
Hard to say. Might have just been too awkward of a hit. Oh, nice. Great use of the Thunder.
Bloopy willing to go back in. This is a little bit of a dangerous place to be in, especially with Chip and Toaster and OD, but doesn't matter. Toaster gets the mash out and manages to close the set out with a pretty solid 2-0. So going back to the replay, we saw it here, uses the OD to bust out, and then Bloopy makes some bad decisions in terms of dealing with Stomp and is immediately put in a situation where she has to block, and you see it right there. The far L and the far M just immediately chipping out and doing the damage. And then now we see it here. Bloopy had screen control and had to work out, but unfortunately just the pressure wasn't what it needed to be, and Toaster manages to mash out to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's like pretty tricky is pressure against Vaseraga. It has to be pretty different than how you pressure a lot of the rest of the cast. Because even though Vaseraga has slow frame data on his normals on paper, they're all a higher attack level than what they are. So they naturally crush a lot of normals. Like Vaseraga's L normals are basically halfway between L and M. So they're going to crush L normals.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Huh. That explains a lot, actually.
It's kind of in that way that he forces you to kind of slop out with the slower normals the way that he does. Obviously, once you get on him, you can just sit there and use light pressure and stagger and dash and redash pressure. But once you're like, when you're playing at like that mid range and you're at the areas he is, because of the way that his normals work, it's just like you're having to rely on your mediums and your heavies. And like, that's an instance where not only are his buttons may be slower than yours, but they hit harder and they're probably better in terms of
like, you know, his far L is medium priority and is plus on block, things like that.
One of the few characters with a plus on block far L.
Yeah, I think the only other one is Katalina.
Ladiva does too.
Oh yeah.
But
interesting.
Anyway, make sure to check out the Matcherino. We still have a good number of codes to be claiming. So just click the link. It takes only like 30 seconds to hit contribute, and we can pay out our players.
Yeah, Granblue has a pretty consistent record of paying out top 4. We'd always love to see that streak going. But, and go ahead, I.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I think it's been like 4 or 5 months or something of top 4 payouts, which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing too is a lot of the sponsor quests usually take like, it's either a click of a button or it's just, it's usually like a click of the button or something like really simple, like this video or fill out this 2-question survey. And the survey ones usually pay out pretty well too.
Yeah, they pay a lot and they literally take 5 seconds. I know we have a couple of them on this Matcherino as well.
Yeah, and also the ones where you have to like follow an account. You just have to do that for long enough to claim the money. You don't need to continue to follow the account.
That's true.
It is. So the big thing too about that is like, or you could just have like a burner account like I do for all of your.
Oh, that's smart. I should make a Matcherino burner account.
Yeah, no, it's really the Matcherino burner
don't do it
account
through
is
Twitter.
Kind of busted.
That's all I can say. Don't do it through Twitter. I made a new Twitter account today, and it made me do like, the captcha was insane. It's like they show you a number, and they're like, pick which picture of dice adds up to it, but you have to do it 20 times, and it's such a pain in the butt. Yeah. It's.
Do they not want people making new accounts?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think Twitter wants users with the way it's being run lately, but that's a different.
True.
That is a little bit of a different conversation, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. But we're kicking off round 2 with a match I'm very, very excited about. I think Umbi Nekotech is always a good show.
Oh yeah, and just like these are 2 very like talented up and coming players. Umbi, both of them are routinely like right within the top 8 to top 12 range. We see a couple of moments of brilliance from each of them where they push into like top 5, top 3, but it says a lot about the way that they play and the skill of their play that they can at least consistently place what they do, especially in like a bracket like this where after the first round it's just kind of it's a bloodbath every way up.
Yeah, you beyond round 1 there's just killers everywhere.
Like it's just like, oh, you're playing this country's best players that, you know, are like the people who show up to the events like you're playing the best ones. Unfortunately, a little bit of an overzealous DP from Umbi. I understand there, definitely kind of hit the land, didn't know where things were going to go, but just a little bit of a risk, especially on a character like Metera, who has, with all those resources out there and everything that's on them, it was just a really dangerous proposition from Umbi.
Oh, look at the stare down.
Yeah, this is where Umbi wants to be too, especially because she's right at the tip of far H range and far M range, where she can safely space and use light thrust as kind of a pressure tool.
This is rough though.
Yeah, it's not.
Things can chip out.
Not only a lot of things can chip out, there's not really a safe situation for Umbi to force into overdrive too. So the overextensions and everything I say an overextension, but like the options have to be precise or it's going to become an overextension.
Yep. The overextension was much earlier in the round.
Yeah, the DP in that situation, like I understand why it happened, but it is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like against Metera, You need to get in once.
That's the. I mean, like that's the rumor of or that's the. That's kind of like the myth. Is like you only really need one hit, but by the time you like, if you're trying to play with this really aggressively, and you're trying to just force your way in rather than like create the openings or wait for a bad overextension from her. By the time you get in, she's probably going to have 50 to 100 meters. So not only are you just having to play around her, you're having to guess around her resources now that you actually got it.
Oh, for sure. I didn't mean that to say, guerrilla your way in and then you're guaranteed to win. More like, get in once and that's like your golden opportunity to get her to waste resources, get her to fall into frame traps.
Yeah, it's just like there's ways to layer your offense in ways that kind of counteract and deal with her resources, but having to constantly like layer and set your pressure to focus on these two specific things rather than something that may be optimal or something that like has a little bit better reward is just kind of a frustrating position to be in.
I don't think this is gonna kill, but can't take another throw. Oh, I did not see the dodge.
And that's something that I think is really important is we've seen consistently kind of against Nekotech is when she's really prone to letting EX or letting ODE on wake up when she's in a bad situation rip. And so Umbi just immediately, not even hard guessing, just going ahead and using the OS. And now we have to see if Nekotech is going to be willing to either restructure how she uses OD or if she's going to be willing to kind of counter OS or counterplay.
Yep.
Umbi kind of tries to force in, overextends just a little bit, but based off the last game we saw, even after a bad situation, Umbi's willing to and able to work her way back into some pretty consistent damage. So it's not something that
nice dodge on that rush.
Excellent. You can't be trying to reaction tech Umbi. She got the. Not only does she got the Zoomer nerves, she's also got the like sugar high that she's always on. So if you try that, like she saw your move 2 seconds before you did it.
I mean, part of it is like Umbi's spacing has just been so good. Like, it's really hard to react to the first hit or rush, but if you're spaced where only the second hit or rush can hit, then like you're in the mortal realm of reactions.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at that point, it's just like it's like a hope and a wish. Like you're anticipating it, you see something that looks a little funny like it, and you just call it out. But at this point, now Umbi kind of taking the yeah, absolutely. Now this is the position Umbi really wants to be in, especially because not only does she have that plus on block far out to deal to kind of frame trap and work around with. Now you have to guess not only against her close light pressure, her far light pressure, and strike throw and overhead. And we've seen Umbi make really good use of kind of layering her pressure and getting all the options that she can. Oh, unfortunately, gets a bad EX thrust on there. Kind of gets away with murder on that. That would have been a really, really dangerous punish had.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, great sweep. Get some Oki.
I'm sorry, Umbi. Like you had full meter and you went for that sweep. Where's this SSBA? Like you got to pay the Callisto tax. I'm sorry.
That's true.
But anyway, Nekotech managing to tie it up, and this is kind of the set I was expecting to see. Umbi had like a really strong first round, and now Nekotech kind of definitely one of those players that I think like can be a little bit explosive, but traditionally when the set drags out, that's normally when her defensive habits tend to win her in situations that tend to win her matches based off just patient situations. But Umbi still managing to kind of keep the pace in and keep in, but has to be really careful.
Reacting to the 5U with the rush really swung the momentum back to Nekotech.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like we kind of see these really small interactions and like obviously yes, a fighting game is multiple back and forths and multiple things that are going on, but each of these swings is traditionally really violent. So whoever makes the most advantage of it, like the one who makes the most advantage of it usually sees like very massive dividends. And at this point right now, it's looking like Nekotech. But Umbi, I think starting to see a little bit of frustration on Umbi's side. Been playing a little bit more aggressively, but at this point kind of pays off. Gets the run-up throw, especially against the EX Butterfly, which is such a just a bold response towards it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that probably was meant to be a. I think that probably meant to be just kind of the rush, and it did not work out the way it needed to.
Nekotech looking in full control over here.
Umbi, yeah, at this point, like a lot of the things we're seeing Umbi do, were it looked like she was making a lot of predictions rather than just kind of taking a little bit slower and like actively reacting to the options thrown at her. But now, you know, unfortunately, like a lot of those overextensions cost Umbi. We talked about it earlier, especially in terms of like how things were going and like in terms of how you have to deal with Metera. You know, if you overextend or you're trying to rely on just getting that one hit, she's probably going to have enough meter to stop you. And that's what happened.
I mean, in general, Nekotech's resource management has been spot on. Like we saw Nekotech use really smart use of like backshift in key moments to immediately take back momentum, or using rush on reaction to moves like Katalina 5U. Like those small things keep the momentum on Nekotech's end, and ultimately those added up over time to give Nekotech that win.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, we talked about it in terms of just kind of how Metera works, but she has really good usage of all three of the new mechanics. They gave her a lot of her meter gain was always pretty high in general, just because of how much on block she gets from stuff like EX Arrow and just landing traps, not to mention if it lands. So having an option in terms of just being able to like use all those resources, and now those resources technically, like if used correctly, can lead to getting them back within the way that her matchup is structured. It just layers everything in a way that you kind of, not only does it helps and it hurts the idea of trying to get her early, because if you overextend, she's going to pay dividends from it.
Metera's a sick character, man.
Yeah.
I know she can make some people mauled, but I think that's just because all the Meteras are just really good. Like,
I mean, like the character and the players do get a little bit of hate, and like I understand, you know, it's when I think about like the definition of a net play character, that character has like so many boxes to tick. But at the end of the day, you know, at a certain point, like those players do put in a lot of work and do a lot of like they do a lot of work together, and like a lot of VOD review and a lot of tech review, and it's just unfortunately at that point, like, you know, you're getting outworked, and you just kind of have to hold that.
Yep, absolutely. But
speaking of hold that,
oh man,
we got a grappler. Wait, this color's sick. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
The color is good.
So I've not seen Rickster play this character. I'm kind of curious to see some things, but Rowlet playing Percival, like kind of the apex predator, like the natural, Ladiva's natural predator. So Rickster has to be really careful in here, because the wrong mistake can just get you exploded. And unfortunately, like Rowlet is not punishing those mistakes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it goes for a lariat. For those who don't know, Ladiva's lariat, when it hits you, it's plus 5 block, or if it's the medium version, you get guard broken. But you can block it low and then immediately punish for a lot of damage. And we saw Rowlet go ahead and make it work. But this is the kind of thing that's unfortunate, especially like when you play Ladiva, is at this point, you know, even when you have the life advantage, it's really hard to just kind of like step back and make them overextend, because at a certain point, like you are going to do more by like being close to them. So that strategy isn't really like viable until there's like not a lot of time on the clock. So you still kind of have to overextend, or like have to like force your way in, even when you normally wouldn't with another character, because it's just, that's all you can do. So this is really interesting. One thing I'm seeing from Rickster a lot here is like anytime there's like minus frames from Rowlet, it's not so much of like, we don't necessarily see like kind of an overextension in terms of poking back, but we do see him use something like Rush to kind of naturally take his turn and deal with any of the kind of options.
that double close eights at the end was so sick.
Oh, it was so nasty. But Rowlet tying up the first game, and like this is kind of what I was expecting to see in terms of just. I don't think this is I don't necessarily play this matchup with Ladiva. Even like, if I do, it's because I am like, I think it's fun. But in a tournament, absolutely not.
I 100% feel that.
And I think in terms of this, like, we know Rickster has like a very strong Saurus, and it's probably just wanting to like try some new things and bracket it. But I really do just kind of want to see, you know, this is what this matchup looks like, is you try to navigate Percy's God buttons, and then when it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you just eat a billion damage. But Rowlet managing to overcome and work her way through. One thing I'm curious, immediate, like, not the immediate tap back in, but feels confident enough to go with it. I'm curious to see like what Rickster has here. And I'm also curious too, because like I can't imagine that this matchup is much if any better than playing Percival Suarez. So I think it's just kind of like wanting to play a new, you know, you go in the bracket, you play a fun, you go into a bracket, you play a fun character.
And one nice thing about these net play brackets is they're free, so there's nothing really on the line.
You didn't have to drive anywhere, you know. It's just like
it's a Wednesday afternoon, like. If you're learning a new character and want to see how far you can push them, do it in bracket.
Brother, I must regretfully inform you that it is a
it's 5 over here.
But Rickster kind of slowly working it in, but one thing, you know, one of the things that makes this matchup hard is you see it right there is blocked far end of the fireball with the pushback that it does. It's really hard for Ladiva to kind of overcome that, and especially work her way back, because even with the fireball pushes you out of a range to where you're really kind of having to like cut corner or like split hairs to get in with Percy far in.
Yep, and like the way to beat that fireball is kind of a call out, because you have to like sweep or immediately jump, and both of those are scary.
It's not only that too, but like the sweep has like a really high likelihood of trading unless you're point blank.
Yeah.
Oh, gets the anti-air and is dead.
Yep.
Rowlet taking it with that quick 2-0.
And I gotta point out that from that anti-air, Rowlet went for the close H afterwards, which, like, you need some confidence to know that that close H is gonna hit. Most of the time, like, the safe option is the close M. It works at more spacings, but Rowlet just knew.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, like, when you look at that in terms of just, again, like you said, it was a spacing, but one of the things that, like, I think I see from Rowlet a lot is she does, when she hits you, she usually goes for, like, some pretty optimal routes and some things that just let her capitalize and, like, cash out as much as she can. And, like, we saw really good use of it there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's going to fight Xerom next. Godspeed.
Yeah. You know, she's a little bird that can, and I think it's possible, but it's going to be a tall hill to climb for her.
Xerom, very, very, very strong player.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's won a couple of these.
Yeah, just a couple.
Hang on, it's more than a couple. He got real uppity with me last time I said a couple, so like let's give the man his due.
Maybe like at least a third of these, I want to say. At least.
At least.
Speaking of strong players, up next we got Kilo and MBK.
So when we were sitting down picking the brackets tonight, like this is the one that like I didn't put 2 and 2 together and see. And Imp is like, nah, that one's got to go on stream. Sorry, like let's just get out of here.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I also, before we get into it though, I want to shout out all the donations we got to the Matcherino. We got Lennox with the 40, Uber with the 5. Thank you both. We have 16 codes left. Over 100 people watching right now. So if you haven't already, click the link and claim the code, please do. I know there's at least 16 of you. I know you all have at least one login, because you can use literally any other website on the internet to log into Matcherino. So yeah, help us hit that top 4 payout goal at 150, which I think we can definitely do it. We do it pretty much every single week for Granblue.
Yeah, it's one of our, like, this is definitely one of the more consistent brackets in terms of like payouts and like our players getting taken care of, which I mean, it's like a really big sign of like just how much the Granblue community cares. It's just like, someone's like, no matter what, like most of the time, someone's walking out of the night with a paycheck. So.
Absolutely.
Ooh, this I'm actually really interested in.
Kilo on Narm?
Kilo has played a lot of this. Kilo has played a lot of this character.
And like I know MBK has a Belial, right?
MBK has
He
a lot of
does.
characters.
A Belial, a Jita.
Like Belial is way better into Narmaya than Percival, but you know, sometimes you're just feeling the Percival, I guess.
And you know, I completely understand like why MBK would pick this character, like want to learn this character the way that he does. You know, most of the characters that in this game that he's just fundamentally strong with are all Shotos, and this is currently like the king. So
yeah, absolutely.
Completely understand why you might gravitate to and mess with this character. But Kilo managing to really hold down the corner and like kind of keep MBK locked down. But we see the bust out there, and now MBK has the corner.
Yep, chooses to forego stocks to get that corner OP.
Yeah, and now we're seeing it using the command dash pressure kind of to mess with Kilo's mental stack and see what he can get away with. But we're just seeing kind of the same thing that Kilo did to MBK earlier, where it's just very strong. Very strong. Yeah, very strong, very consistent corner pressure, and now don't even need that. Just let it go. That neutral jump was insane. MBK is getting so much off these like small strays, and that's the big thing about Percy too. Is especially once he has stocks, button into Stinger does so much damage.
Oh no, that was too high. But doesn't matter, got the throw anyway.
Yeah, MBK taking a pretty quick first game, but we saw Kilo play really well. Just a couple of small things that really went wrong in the first game that could have been fixed to win. So I'm not really expecting a blowout here.
Oh,
calls out command. Calls out command.
The Light Setsuna is punishable by Percy's far H, but MBK was just ever so slightly late on that.
Yeah, it's like what, 16, 18 frame button? I know.
Far H is 12.
Oh, dang, I was out of my mind. But yeah, it's like a 12 frame button, so it's not exactly the easiest thing to swing right with.
Oh, great DP right there.
Yeah, Kilo having to like work his way out of a bad situation. Oh, doesn't get the Danalar. Unfortunately, the person was just overextended enough to where the OD hit, or else that would have been a really bad. That would have been game for Kilo.
Absolutely.
But now, immediate jump in from MK doesn't get the counter hit off of it, but Kilo's still kind of establishing pressure and like managing to play right outside of the kind of just working his way through and being able to like stay in a range where his button and Setsuna is going to be really well in terms of like Percy trying to counter poke, but still.
Oh, too late on that 2H, got punished by the jump in.
It's going to hurt too. Both of Narmaya's supers do a pretty good grip of damage even with the scaling that it had.
Yeah, great spacing on that Setsuna. Just outside the far H. Oh, are we going to have it hit?
It unfortunately doesn't get the right call out for it, but doesn't matter. Gets the wake up EX DP and calls it.
Believe in victory. Battle.
Now so this is what I was expecting from this matchup. More so like, there's no way it's gonna be a 2-0. I don't care how this went. This may be a little bit of a slobber knocker, but we're having a good one. Kilo managing to find the corner pressure early, and we see like he's willing to make really good use of Narmaya's plus frame buttons and just kind of some of her speed and pressure.
Oh wow, uses the far H as an anti-air and gets the DP stuffed.
Yeah, unfortunately doesn't get the follow-up on that, but still has the corner pressure. And this is where Kilo has done really well this entire set, just basically managing to kind of like weave in and out of Percy buttons and control the corner, especially with like safe-ish Setsunas and generally just good button usage from Narmaya. And Narmaya, a character that we don't really see that often, but has really strong buttons, has, one of the few plus crouching medium, one of the few plus medium buttons in the game. And now just absolutely able to And we've seen good use of, like, we've seen good use of a lot of the buttons, especially kind
You
of.
see an OD bait? I
Yep.
was waiting for it.
Not no debate, but
That was
unfortunate.
so unfortunate.
Yeah, that was just a really bad jump back from Kilo in terms of what happened. I think like saw the stinger and didn't really want to get put in a guess for game situation, but the way Percy's fireball is, especially with stocks, like that thing just stays on the screen forever. And that's what I'm talking about. Like you see these really small confirms and just aggressive damage from MBK, but Kilo kind of in a bad situation now because like the next hit from Percival is a kill, and Kilo has to navigate this neutral very dangerous.
Wow.
Like, oh, that was so nasty. So, and we see a little bit of the stare down. Kilo not too shy to swing first, but fortunately gets put in a bad situation. Has to be careful because like for as much as MBK has shown what he can do, you know, at this point, like this is a bad situation no matter what, especially in terms of like how his character hits. Oh, I think he smelled something out, and unfortunately, just did not happen.
Yep. MBK takes it.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Kilo's really good at kind of reacting to like stray options with super or DP, so I think he just kind of smelled it out, and unfortunately didn't work out.
Yeah. I mean, this... I can see why, because like this is a point where like a great, you know, just a raw H stab might have done it, but nope. MBK didn't do anything and was rewarded with the win.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was just kind of like a bad reaction from Kilo, and just we saw how it went out, and now we're gonna get Wavi versus Professor Nekotech on stream.
Dude,
That's gonna be sick.
I'm looking at losers right now, and there's so many sets that just look. We got Lennox versus Umbi in losers, which I think will be a great set. The winner of that plays Rowlet, which will also be a great set. And then Kilo has to play Odd Toaster to make it into top 8.
Which Kilo plays all of Odd Toaster's characters too, so like that's gonna be a tall order for Toaster, but like we've seen him play really well.
Yep.
MBK, in your defense, I think a lot of people would probably say the phrase, "This is my first time playing this matchup" when seeing any Narmaya. So don't feel too bad, my guy.
You know, that's kind of funny because like over in PNW, I feel like I'm surrounded by Narmaya players.
Really?
So I forget that she's supposed to be more rare.
Yeah, y'all got the Coomers up there. Like that doesn't surprise me.
I can only think of one in New York. I just think of Quotes, and then I can't think of anybody else.
Let's just be honest. Quotes is a Final Fantasy 14 main, not a.
I don't know. He cooked. He got top 8 at crossover.
I watched him. Like I was so happy because like I've been to a couple of events where Quotes where like he comes just right up to the cusp of top 8. And,
yeah.
Like something small goes wrong, or I think he just kind of loses faith in himself. But like I was so happy to see him get it, man, because like he's been fiending for it for so long.
Yeah, he's a driving force too. Like he donates to pretty much most pods. Every time he's won anything in an event I've like run, he immediately just like he's like, "Can you send me the Matcherino for your next event?" and just puts it straight back in there.
Yeah, like Quotes is such a good dude, man. I love him to death. But
Nekotech. I'm curious to see who Wavi's gonna play, 'cause she's got a few characters.
I think she's pretty consistently said that like she has found out that she can win this matchup with Cagliostro, but now she's just gonna play like just go to Belial with it, which I think is the correct option in terms of.
Yeah, like why play a hard but even matchup when you could play a matchup that's way in your favor?
Yeah, absolutely. Like at this point, you know, why work when you don't have to work? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sick.
For real. This is Wavi finally just decided to swing a little bit, get a little angry.
You know what? I'm here for it. If the Metera players don't want these matchups, they can also counter pick back.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Is like I think I think like both Nekotech and Senpai have Uno, who does not play particularly well in this matchup. So like, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. They've both shown that like with 6 they can play this matchup super well, even though it's supposed to be like bad. So
Yeah. And that's what happens when you're just a strong player in general.
absolutely. And now we're seeing. So I mean, obviously, like I've not been playing for the last like 2 weeks just because of like personal stuff, but. It's like, this is the first time I'm seeing the Wavy 6, and you know, it's interesting. Like, I think this is kind of, I've not seen her play this character, and I'm curious to see how she plays this character. Using the walk
Pretty
speed.
good so far.
Yeah, doing pretty well so far. Kind of not, using 6's walk speed to not even necessarily navigate or deal with some of the butterfly situations, which I think is really smart.
Yeah, and it's like, with 6's kit being the way it is, like, you can definitely get away with just walking forward a lot more because, like, the Metera has to be, like, cognizant of EX dives, plowing straight through projectiles. So, if the Metera is waiting for that, you might be able to just steal a lot of real estate too.
Wavy calling out the reaction roll from Nekotech and managing just to take it as far as she can. Clutches out the first set after, like, kind of a pretty back and forth run. This one thing we're seeing here is like Wavy's really kind of. I think a lot of the things that when they go her way is just like she's really good at kind of brute forcing her way in. Like we've seen a lot of instances where like she makes a really good call out on like a projectile or especially like EX butterflies and just manages to run with it where she can. But Nekotech starting to warm up a little bit, playing just a little bit more aggressive, trying to kind of stop Wavy from just running all over her. Oh, that was such an unfortunate. Like, anytime like I see someone confirm into parry, I'm just like, oh, I feel your pain. I know what you wanted. I'm so sorry.
Yep. That's one of those times you have to like remind yourself, like, if I was just running forward, use the half circle.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like myself and Jerry have joked about it, but like the biggest thing they did to nerf 6 was like that input buffer change. Unfortunately, Wavy getting a little bit predictable with the EX dive kick. Nekotech finally calls it out with the Metera back 5 view and manages to punch the round back in high.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Nekotech choosing to not even interact with that, just jumping out, happen to see the parry, or the parry there.
Oh, Wavy going for the left-right. Which side am I? Manages to kind of get out of the corner, which I think was a really good option in terms of just not wanting to block against Metera. But unfortunately, Nekotech manages to kind of work her way back in and control the space. Now just kind of having to play guessing game. So that's the thing we've seen every time. Like Wavy will go to try to call out or like bait an air option from Metera, and it just does not go the way that she needs it to be.
Entering trip territory right here. Yep. Has a rush. EX dive takes it.
Like that was such a good call out too, because we saw Wavy kind of go back. We saw the rush, and then from what it looked like, immediately went ahead and let maybe immediately or almost immediately like saw the Metera jump back and just let easy input dive kick rip and got the counter hit. Wavy managing to go up to the first game. To answer the question in the chat, SSK, she cannot. Now, Wavy managing to catch this. Yeah, really good. That's the thing, like, Nekotech's really good at, is, like, if she doesn't think that you're pressured at a certain point, or, like, she sees you kind of do, like, a predictive chain to something, she'll just roll out and then punish you for it. Yep. And we've seen her get a lot of damage tonight, especially from that, in terms of just being able to, like, outwalk or outblock specific bad options.
Oh, great overdrive right there.
Yeah, Wavy has to be really careful now, especially in terms of just what meter she has left and like kind of having to deal with chip, and you know, can't have a sloppy cancel or else Nekotech can just let EX super rip, but gets the drop, frame kills, and still manages to clutch it out. Wavy going up to set point. You know, hit him with the Bob Ross, like just an accident, just a happy little reset. They don't call those drops.
Yeah, like it looked pretty bad for Wavy since that overdrive, and then Wavy just had such clean pressure.
It's one of the things where I think, like, when the overdrive hit, Wavy was in a position to where, at least if things kind of went funny, or at least if in terms of, like, having to deal with that, she was close enough that she had the ability to really kind of work in and, like, at least leverage the situation, so she's not halfway across screen dealing with Metera, but now Wavy getting the hit and managing to take it as far as she can.
Oh no.
Connection with the opponent lost. Unfortunate.
I wonder if, like, the round ended and we just didn't get to see it?
Probably. Seeing the GGs in the chat, so it looks like Wavy took it.
Yeah, it looks like we were just a little bit behind.
Yeah, happens, unfortunately. The way the way spectating works in this game is just kind of funky.
Arctis spectating is always interesting, shall we say. I think that's a good way to put it.
To give them like the benefit of the doubt, they sure got the netcode stuff right on every game except this one, or every game after this one. But
but you know that's good for Rising. That speaks speaks well of Rising.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of Rising, whatever the first WASD tournament for Rising happens is going to be insane.
Yeah, I'm already actually kind of like trying to prepare for it and like make some like infrastructure, I guess is the right word, like just preemptive like small swaps, like how I'm like moving check-in up a little bit so that there's actually like time before the bracket to seed and everything.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'm just thinking about how big the WASD bracket was when Rising just got announced. It wasn't out. It's still not out.
yeah.
To be fair, in everyone's defense, we did maybe make it sound like Granblue got rolled back overnight. If we're all being a little bit honest, then we have to hold ourselves accountable. You know, that's the way it is. But speaking of holding people accountable, we do have a Matcherino tonight, and we're currently at 76.44, which is we've passed the threshold for the prize payout, and now we're halfway over to the top 4 payout, which another $75. You can put codes in there. We have 9 codes left out of 50, and I know there's more than 9 of you here who haven't claimed it. But at this point, you know, working our way up, traditionally our top 4 gets paid out, and we'd like to keep that streak going.
Yep,
Absolutely. I think we actually have a decent amount of top 8 populated as well. Give me a second, and I will.
I was looking at the losers run. Odd Toaster took the game over Kilo 2-0.
Damn.
So I'm excited to see them play.
Can we pull Nekotech versus Rickster? Would that be?
I think they already started. So we can't. But I mean, this top 8 looks very fun. Obviously, we got the regulars, Xerom and SenpaiSpyder. But
maybe an MBK.
Yeah. Selo Umbi is going to be a good one. Odd Toaster versus either Rickster or Nekotech. Are we going to get 3 Meteras in top 8 again?
So there are many things there are many things in this bracket that I would call clockwork. One is our next matchup, Xerom versus SenpaiSpyder.
Yeah.
Second is there is always going to be at least 2 Meteras in top 8. And third, Linux entering the bracket. Or Linux entering the bracket while he's commentating. But now, so like I said, we see this matchup just about every week. Except not tonight, apparently.
They saw each other's characters and were like, nah, not tonight.
No, not
I'm not sure if I should remake the room or if that was like an intentional.
Might have like accidentally had a
low level fatal error. That's what happened.
Wait,
I guess while we're waiting, we did have more of the losers bracket fill out. Selo and we're gonna have Selo and Umbi, and then
I'm that's gonna be a good one. Selo. So we got Metera, Katalina. We got the Vaseraga versus either Metera or I guess Rickster's on Ladiva.
I mean, I think at this point Rickster may be back to Sora's, but we'll see.
Yeah, so we're gonna run it a little bit out of order, since we saw MBK more recently. We're gonna start with Xerom versus Senpai, then we'll run Wavi versus MBK. Then we'll drop down into losers, run the losers matches, losers quarters, the whole deal.
We'll run a little bit of a top 8 bracket, you see. just a hint of top 8.
All right, I think Xerom is back in after their crash.
Charlotta
Yep.
versus
All right, cool. We got further than we did last time, so I'm gonna call that a wash. We're good.
Believe in victory. Battle.
Alrighty.
Engage.
So opening up, immediately just both rounds start running at each other, but SenpaiSpyder gets the early hit, and now we're gonna probably see him shift over to the game he's so good at. Just managing to play keep out, trying to force Xerom to overcommit, and we talked about it earlier, like we are 20 seconds in, and SenpaiSpyder has built 61 meters, spent 50 of it, and is well on his way to building more.
Yeah, and like, I really like SenpaiSpyder's movement just in general. Like, they will set butterflies and then just kind of shimmy around, watch what you're gonna do. Like, there's nothing inherently predictable about what SenpaiSpyder is doing, which is the strongest thing a zoner can be doing.
Yeah, Senpai's really good at kind of maximizing just like, you are going to pay some health to get up to me, but now I also have the meter to where when you do finally get up to me, I'm going to bust out. And you got to hold that. Or not.
Battle 2. Engage.
But so far, Senpai taking an early lead, kind of getting the first game. Now has to block this corner pressure. This is a really bad situation for Senpai to be in terms of just doesn't have the meter really to bust out, and this is where Xerom does best, where he's just letting his strike throw rip, letting everything go the way he needs to, and Senpai tries to bust out, unfortunately does not get it, and Xerom is ready for it with the 75-second perfect, man. It's got a little spicy on it.
3. Engage.
Start backdash, set some butterflies. Immediately getting a good amount of chip going.
Oh, gets the safe jump set up. I've never seen that. That's actually really cool.
I loved seeing the far end to frame kill. That was sick.
Yeah, and this is the other thing too, is like we're talking about just like Senpai's style really is like really good at keep away, but like when he decides to finally go in, like he's hitting you with the funny stuff, like the immediate like hop in OD. It's like that is not something that you do just all willy-nilly. That is something like Senpai does because he wants you to know about yourself.
Yep.
And speaking of knowing about himself, like that first round was a little bit rough, but the back two were just strong sweeps from Senpai.
Hold this butterfly pressure. Oh, nice.
Yeah, now, so this is the big thing, like, this is where Xerom wants to be, and, like, Senpai has meter and options to bust out, but unfortunately doesn't guess right on the setup, and just Xerom taking a quick game, too.
I mean, that just kind of seems to be like SenpaiSpyder's style is on defense. Like, they vary their options really well, but they're committing constantly.
Yes.
So they're either right away and they bust out, or they're dying quick.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Charlotta, especially if she gets the hit early and, like, you have to kind of work around her game, is just her corner pressure is so nasty, not only on top of having to deal with both her demon flip mix, well, demon flip pressure, and then just general kind of aggressive options like her 2-1-4 series, but you're also having to deal with the fact that, like, her throw animation is very short. Like, it's hard to react to if you even react to it at all. But Senpai, not wanting to go quietly into the night, gets the OD bust out, and unfortunately tries to anti-air Charlotta 2-2H overhead and does not get it. Xerom tying it up pretty aggressively. Like, both of those rounds, you know, both went all 3 rounds, but those were so, like, each round for the person who won it was just aggressive.
That was an anti-air to him.
Oh, her every single medium button on that character is cracked. Like just like playing the best of the series, having a great time with him.
Oh wow. The reaction to realize that whiffed and to immediately be able to anti-air. Xerom is too nice.
And that's the thing too, is like the logic on that from Senpai was really smart. Tried to do a non-conventional bait out on the ball, and just unfortunately like the extra spice on it could ruin the dish, and Xerom was able to capitalize on it. But now we're seeing this kind of slow back down and move move back into the game that Senpai wants to play. Like we'll see kind of different. Unfortunately, hits before hits after the invincibility. That is so unfortunate. This isn't gonna kill, but it's gonna put Senpai in a really bad guess situation.
Yeah, but OD might be happening soon. Rush might be happening soon.
Yeah, Senpai has to be really careful because Xerom does have like a pretty fair amount of resources to play around with, and like a bad meter usage or a bad spend is gonna Xerom has the ability to really bully through it and manages to make it count. Xerom tries the DP to close it out. Senpai's ready with the OD. That was such a smart call from him. But Xerom, not one to be outdone, manages to sniffs out the universal overhead and calls it out with the far end pretty consistently. We see him do that a lot in these sets too.
Oh, the counter hit, universal overhead there.
Yeah,
straight to the corner.
That's like the classic PS4 Charlotta move, is like 2U immediate overhead, just kind of with how the speed of everything works and just how well she can condition you by using 2U and 214H, but doesn't matter. Xerom managing to take a quick set and is going into our winners finals. You saw it too, like that was so, especially with that round, is like the second that Xerom got into the corner, just ran the set play and managed to, and Senpai just guessed wrong every time. And that's the unfortunate thing about this, is like you only get like 1 or 2 guesses against Charlotta before she just nukes you, and it's what we saw happen.
And Charlotta has just enough things that you have to react to that are hard, that makes the rest of her kit just so strong.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way that she can mental stack you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
She does a lot of things really well in terms of just kind of like that. We say it a lot, but like each of the Metera players have like a pretty pretty express style. And at that point, it's just, you do see and we do have 3 Meteras in top 8.
Yep.
But each one of the Metera players plays her with like a very unique style in a different way. And like you see it, we have 3 here tonight. You're going to see something different from Selo, Nekotech, and Senpai all. And we've already seen Nekotech and Senpai. So at this point, like Selo is the odd one out, and Umbi is definitely going to be an interesting showcase for just how Selo plays that character.
Yeah, I'm curious if we're going to see the Metera mirror. We have a few opportunities for it. Could happen in losers quarters, could happen in losers semis.
Yeah, I feel like the Metera mirror is a WASD classic.
It is at this point. Oh man, but who do we have next? MBK versus Wavi? That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good match.
I'm curious if MBK is going to continue with the Percy, or if they're going to just keep swapping characters based on how they feel.
I don't know. I think we're going to see the Percy at first, especially if they're like trying to get the practice in.
Yeah, MBK traditionally will just kind of let some stuff rock and is willing to kind of, I've seen him commit to like a specific bracket pick, and we've seen him do it too. Like just recently he ran a couple of Metera brackets and like managed to win the mirror.
True. Yeah.
Managed to like confidently take the mirror in some of those too. So when he commits to the bit, he's dedicated.
Yep. Should be pretty good.
I'm going to track down Wavi, but while we do, a reminder that we have a match Reno. We've got 124 people watching, 7 codes remaining. So if you haven't already, Click the link. It'll take you to this page you see right in front of you. Click that blue button, 25 free cents, and do some of the sponsor quests. They're super easy. They add either 25 or 35 cents straight to the pot. If we hit 150, we're halfway there. Top 4 gets paid out. 320, top 6, 660, top 8. We are on a very massive streak right now of always hitting top 4 payout for Granblue. So if possible, I'd like to continue that. So definitely claim the codes. If you're able, consider making a donation. Maybe you got a couple dollars just sitting in your Matcherino account you can't cash out. I know all the gamers would definitely appreciate it. Oh, there we go.
All right, we're getting started. Hell
Right
yeah.
in time.
So both players are here, and yeah, Matcherino, excellent part of our community. Like the Granblue players have proven time and time again that they are very determined in it. But
Metera.
4 Meteras in top 8.
Oh god damn it! This is just where we're at now, huh?
Yep.
So that's the thing. I understand why this happened the way that it did. Wavi is definitely kind of the person to like, I'm gonna learn to play this character that way. I know how to kill this character, and this is just absolutely like this. Everything that's going on here kind of falls in line with how Wavi does and how she is as successful as she is.
I absolutely love that method. I've done it in other fighting games, and I'm already starting to do that with Granblue. If someone is kicking your ass, you learn their character and figure out how they work.
See, I always come from like the other side of that mentality where I'm just going to play about 80 billion matches until I figure it out the hard way. But maybe you shouldn't take my path through fighting games, kids. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, there's like a little bit of stream. There is a little bit of stream overlay issues going on right now. Obviously, streaming is a blow up. This is better than we've had in terms of the way Optimum has gone for this sometimes. So like, get this all back. It's sort of okay.
Yep.
Speaking of getting sorted, MBK getting the confirm is to immediately go for that command throw. This is so nasty.
Yeah, and I like that MBK went for the 2M after the command grab, because that was going to kill regardless, so made the link just a little bit easier.
Yeah, and now we're seeing it. Like I understand the choice here from Wavi. Like, it's like I said it earlier with MBK. Like both of these players are willing to kind of get their hands dirty, throw out some weird characters, and like see how it sticks. But it looks like MBK. I think this character is a little bit more in line with how MBK plays fighting games. So it's the adaptation and like the ease into it is. And we're seeing it, just immediate control of the corner. MBK kind of holding this down. Gets the whiff throw. Wavi tries to kind of use one of Metera's floatier air options and just gets called out for it, almost like Street Fighter OS. But MBK working in early, kind of gets the good jump in against the bad arrow from Wavi, and now doesn't have any stocks, but like has pretty good screen presence and can work his way in. But now we're seeing it. Doesn't get the follow up, unfortunately, on that, but has plus frames, has all his cooldowns, has the corner. This is a great place for MBK to be.
Let's get safe jump. This is exactly what Wavi needs right now.
Yeah, this is a good place to be in for Wavi, but unfortunately MBK has worked his way back in. I don't think this is dead, and then I remembered what character I'm talking about. MBK moving up with a quick 2-0. We're going to see Wavi go down to the loser's bracket, but our top 8, our winners finals is going to be Xerom versus versus MBK. Good lord. Can't get names right today, y'all.
It happens. It happens. I'm not gonna lie. I did not expect the Metera.
I did not expect the Metera either, but I respect it.
Yeah. Like, when I saw that, I was like, what's going on here? Am I being taken for a bamboozle? But Wavy, dedicated, like, confident enough to play it here. So this is unfortunately just maybe not the right decision, or MBK kind of having a little bit more comfort in that matchup. But
I need to look at the bracket, but I'm curious if Wavy ran into Axon Star offline at crossover because they were both there, and if that maybe is one of the reasons perhaps that she's trying out the Metera.
Could be.
Yeah, could be. What if I were to pull up Start GG and see what that bracket path over the weekend looked like?
While you guys do that, we're going to be having our next match here. We're going to have Odd Toaster versus Nekotech. Vaseraga versus Metera. This is going to be sick.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see. I think these players have gone out before in the past, and like I don't remember what the result was, but at this point, like I'm really curious.
I think they have, and I believe Nekotech took it last time, but Odd Toaster is a grinder. They pretty much as soon as they were like kind of wishy-washy on the game, and as soon as they like clicked with Vaseraga, they are pinging for games all day, every day.
Yeah, and you definitely do see like those super grinders. And at this point, like Odd Toaster, 2 weeks won his way out of the beginner bracket, and now is like playing pretty well in this bracket too, which is like not an easy thing to do. But speaking of these things not to do, getting in on Metera with Boss, and it's not going so well for Odd Toaster. Nekotech like switching up her play a little bit in this matchup. In matchups like this where I think she feels like she can bully, or she can kind of rely on like slow character speed and working green stuff, we see a whole lot of her just being a lot more aggressive.
Oh, gonna get some armor? Yep.
Yeah, and this is where Boss wants to be. The armor kind of makes approaching Metera a little bit more of an easier option, but Odd Toaster willing to run the RPS and just kind of
plus on whiff. Yeah, multi-hit on that fireball completely shreds through the armor of that tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, just kind of this is the rough thing about this matchup is like Boss doesn't need kind of like the Ladiva knockdown hit to kill in terms of like you only need one hit, but Boss actually getting his hit is really difficult because normally one of the easiest ways to do it would be to use his colossal 2H against Hop, but anything in terms of like anything hitting like that is probably just gonna like anything in terms of that range is gonna be really hard, especially when it's got like butterflies or something covering the approach.
Nekotech showing no fear against the armored stance, just going immediately for a match there. But Odd Toaster getting their turn.
Getting the turn, kind of leveraging like space and pressure options against Metera. Has a really strong life lead, but has to play this really careful, especially kind of this can go out of hand really quickly in terms of just kind of how vile this matchup can be.
Oh, great rush from Nekotech there.
Yeah, and this is going to be where it starts too, because now Nekotech is gonna leverage and try to burst in with a meter, but Toaster doesn't have Soul Forge up, so the approach is going to be a lot more difficult than normal, especially in terms of like Nekotech has a lot of projectiles and especially has normals that count as projectiles, so you can't necessarily just fully rush in on her like you would someone like Fairy. And we're seeing it now. Odd Toaster unfortunately kind of had a pretty decent first game, wasn't able to clinch it out, and now like in a bad position, has to play pretty conservative and like make these hits count. And one of the things we're seeing a lot in terms of this is like Odd Toaster will try to approach and unfortunately just kind of get clipped on the back end with how large
dash though. All right, plus on the tackle.
It's a knockdown. Has Soul Forge up now. The approach is going to be a little bit better, especially considering Soul Forge adds a fair amount of armor points to a specific number of boss's specials. So at this point, like he uses the OD to bust out, and now Odd Toaster doesn't have Soul Forge. Has to be really careful, especially now too, where normals are going to chip. And
this is so bad. Has to pause everything.
Yeah, it's a bad situation for him. Battle 2, engage. Now, Nekotech on set point, and Autoster really kind of has to like change the pace up and slow this down, or like try to drag Nekotech into his game rather than just letting things go, and that's a good start. Unfortunately, losing to Metera far in, which is like one of the funniest anti-airs in the game, just because of the fact of how good it is. But Nekotech uses Rush to bust out, kind of busts through the armor, and unfortunately, like, now Twister's back in the position that he does not want to be in, but gets the mash out, wins the situation there, and now Nekotech kind of on the run. Has to be careful though, because at this point has the advantage of where he wants to be. Gets the throw, doesn't matter.
I love that, the post-round Soulforge.
Sometimes you just mash it out, man. Like, I feel really bad. Like, I'll play Ladiva and it'll look like I do a taunt at the end of every round. It's just like, I'm hitting buttons after this SPD. I'm really sorry. Now, unfortunately, like, this is not a good start for Toaster, because at this point, like, even if he does get the hit, or even if he does continue started, he has a lot of meter on Nekotech's side he has to deal with, and even that now is just not in a good position. Busts out. And this is the thing, like, oh, that clash is not good. Ran a little bit deep trying to bait the back shift. Doesn't get it, unfortunately, but now Nekotech has the meter and has the OD bust out. This is not a situation that Twister wanted to be in. Jumps up, falls down on the normal, and unfortunately just gets chipped out. Or not even chipped out, like, gets hit, calls it out. Nekotech moving on to the next match of top 8, and we are going to see the Metera mirror.
Yep. We'll see Toaster again in the future. I believe. I'm a Toaster believer.
Yeah, Toaster has shown up and like shown to play each time. So, and every time like plays progressively better and better. I don't think it's a lot. Like it's like you said, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see them in this top 8 or in a top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Is Metera the happy chaos of this game? I don't really think this game has a happy chaos.
Belial was happy chaos for like a hot minute.
Yeah, but currently, I don't think it's like. I don't think we got the same issues. It just happens that the Metera players that join this bracket are very, very good.
Yeah, they're just all really, really strong.
Yeah, Metera has to spend cooldowns to do happy chaos things. Happy chaos does not.
Yeah, imagine if she got bow on whiff.
Oh, God. I don't want to think about this character doing... I don't want to think about this character doing Guilty Gear things, because she's already playing Guilty Gear, where the rest of us are playing Street Fighter.
Yeah. Umbi Selo. Okay, so we're going to get Cat and Metera again.
So this is a really interesting matchup, and we've seen Umbi play this already. Managed to... Unfortunately, like, played in winners earlier. Umbi managed to... Umbi did not make that set, but hopefully, you know, Selo's been playing a bunch of different characters, trying a couple things out, seeing what sticks. So maybe we'll see something funny tonight. Maybe we'll see like the Lowane or the Lance.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. I think we saw the Lance last week.
Yeah. It cracks me up because like I feel like someone recently told, like, I found out some of the older characters that Selo plays and like other games, and a lot of things about how he plays fighting games just kind of click together.
Katalina.
Like someone told me who he played in Street Fighter 4, and I was like, oh.
Wait, who did he play in Street Fighter 4?
He played El Fuerte.
Oh.
That was all I needed to hear, and then a lot of things started to click in and make sense. Like Lancelot.
Lancelot with the absolute worst possible weapon.
Oh god, this Dandelion is so nasty. Hit you with a twig.
Just to let you know that every hit Lance is doing is only like chip damage, but it adds up.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, Metera, like, sorry, Jesus Christ, my brain is out of my mind today. Lance doesn't do a whole lot of damage even when he cashes out a pretty decent amount of resources, but you know, the big thing is like his pressure and his options loop so well that you're constantly having to guess. And while it's great for him, you know, the other side of that too is like he's fighting Katalina, and Catalina's character needs to hit you twice on a good day to, twice on a bad day to really get something started. So
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Speaking of getting something started, this is gonna do a lot. I don't think this.
No, I don't think this kills, but
This actually might. If it's. Yeah. I saw it, but I saw it before the animation. I saw it before the animation. I was like, no, this is. I saw it before that. The animation was like, oh, this is over. GG's. Have a nice day. Umbi taking a pretty explosive round off the right concern and confirm. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, Lance has to hit you so many times, but especially against a character like Katalina, you saw it. Like, that was more confirmed the way that he didn't need it. And the Umbi goes for the DP, and the cross up turns it into 2-1-4, and it hits. This character is so funny.
oh, got rid of the EX Fireball. Okay, yeah, Katalina weak to sweeps.
Weak to sweeps, and like Lance has one of the best ones in the game.
Yeah, I'm constantly getting cooked by Lance's sweep.
Oh, and Selo's so good about using it too, man.
Yeah, it's like half screen, and they wait for you to stand up.
Umbi kind of layering her pressure in a way, just waiting to watch for turbulence, and I think this is. Her pressure is normally like really good. She's really good at kind of confirming off stuff and like making the guess strike throw. But like you can see kind of the gaps in it, and her having to really just adapt around it, and it's not going the way that she wants. But that doesn't matter. She gets that nasty overhead. Now has the corner too. This is where she wants to be.
That's out with the sweep.
Yeah, bust out with sweep. Unfortunately, Umbi goes for the raw EX thrust, but Gorilla Blade is not having any of it.
I love that everyone just agrees to call out Gorilla Blade.
That was labeled as Gorilla Blade in season 1, and who are we to buck tradition?
Yeah. It's just such an apt description of that move.
Speaking of bucking tradition, I do think this is gonna not. Umbi making the correct decision on that OD, especially with someone like Lance. It's really easy to get chipped out by this character, and now, unfortunately, has a bad guess. I think she probably wanted to DP or super there, and it just did not work out. Selo going up the game 1, but like this has not been free by any means. Like these sets have been like down to the last second, last confirm, and both players kind of find it out.
Oh, nice!
Really good delay with the charge 2-1-4H on that situation where Umbi just really good awareness and combo routing. Wow. And this is one thing we've seen here from Umbi too, is like she's really good at converting off a straight hit and like making that straight hit go as far as she did. Like the routing there just took her from like a third of the screen all the way, like a third of the screen like on the other side to the corner, just absolutely. Now Umbi taking a pretty quick game 1 in that, and now like gets the pressure, has to put Selo on his back and like get him back in the corner, because every single time, every round that Umbi has won, she has gotten a really good situation in the corner and just nuked Selo for it. Like we'll see Selo like run really strong and consistent game, and like get his hits, get his knockdown, gets his pressure, and just like a small mistake in the corner and he's dead. But Selo not looking to give those out today. Gets the Gorilla Blade. 2-2. Bad 2-2H from Selo. Umbi manages to overdrive out, and now doesn't have to worry about chip and can kind of play her game a little bit. And now like we're at a point where Selo has to be really careful, because like this is the place that Umbi wants to be in. She's got that corner mix, but unable to punish the Gorilla Blade, works her way out, and now back to mid screen. And like this isn't any person's game. Umbi has the resources to kill just off like a really good confirm, but Selo has all the meter and everything on deck. And now
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to call like a mid-screen like fully charged DP the K-Pal, but man, Selo went for it.
That's absolutely K-Pal's vibe check. K-Pal will do that.
We're just gonna call it the K-Pal adjacent, or the K-Pal adjacent. Like split difference here. K-Pal coded.
Yeah.
speaking of coded, Selo downloading Umbi pretty quickly with some of these setups, managing to maintain the corner and like hold as much of an advantage as he can. Gets a little too greedy with the turbulence, and now Umbi has the advantage. This is not where Selo wants to be, but gets the OD bust out. I think Umbi probably tried, went for a cooldown or went for an option, and unfortunately just got stuffed on it.
Yep.
Now Selo up on set point Umbi has to be really careful because this can spiral pretty quickly. Like we've seen Selo get really good corner maintenance and like able just to loop his Oki and his setups really well against Umbi, but she has to be really careful, especially like one wrong move and she's just putting in a set play against her game. Speaking of it, yeah, that's dead. There's a super and just calling it. Last game, last round. I'm so into this. This has been such a good set.
Oh, punish? Yeah.
Yeah, badly spaced Gorilla Blade. Umbi's ready for it and gets the corner carry. Has to be really careful now. And this is one thing we've seen that I think Umbi's been really good at this set, is we'll see Selo put out EX Fireball to control space, and Umbi's ready just to use some of Cat's more disjointed air buns to call him out. This is gonna hurt. Gets the counter hit thrust. This isn't dead, but it's so close. If she'd had SSBA, it would have been over, but I don't think it's going to kill. It doesn't. This is not where Lance wants to be.
Something. You're in chip out range.
Umbi, please walk up and DP him. It would be really funny and make me smile.
Might have been worried about the wake up OD or something, because that's the only thing that would have stopped the... Yeah.
Goes for the SSBA to call out the Firewall. Unfortunately, was a bit too far ahead. Umbi manages to clutch it out. Punishes the unpunishable super.
Yeah, I mean, like, just in general, Umbi's spacing this whole round was so strong.
And that's the thing, like, the changes to Katalina, they didn't really buff what I would necessarily describe as Umbi's style. A lot of the things that I would categorize her on is just like very consistent neutral, being able just to kind of hold the screen and hold the position. But having her add and like diversify her offense a little bit with some of the new changes has like drastically rounded her out as a player, I think, and it's something we've seen really great success for her from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know Lance SSBA is punishable. It's a joke.
Oh yeah, so we were bringing up K-Pow just a little bit ago. K-Pow is coming to our regional this coming weekend, so I get to play that fellow offline.
I think you need to explain to people how your local became a regional. They got 73 people, you said, for Granblue this weekend?
Yeah, we have like 72 people signed up for Granblue at my local, and like we have people coming down from Canada. We have other people coming out from out of state. I don't really get it, but I'm here for it.
That's wild. That's awesome.
I'm gonna need y'all to fly me out here to your local, because
the Undernight bracket that we have on Saturday. Like, Undernight's not a very big game. We have 42 people in it.
What?
That's crazy.
That's awesome. I definitely gotta watch it.
Jawsome, you can at me anytime when I will play. I spent this weekend playing the Resident Evil 4 remake, so I need a couple days to kind of get back into form. But if someone ats me,
that's me. But it's been Atelier Ryza 3.
I ordered the first one of those just because everyone on my timeline was talking about it, and I'm curious. Like, I don't know when it's gonna get here. I bought it on back order from like that Canadian video games place that like just gets really weird reprints. No, dude, it's wild because like they had Drakengard 3 on sale like 2 weeks ago when I grabbed it.
What?
Like,
that was on PS3, right?
Yeah, and like a month ago they had SMT4 reprints, which was crazy. So like I finally managed to like retrack both of those games down and get them for not scalper prices, and I was like pretty happy about it.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So this is it. This is where we're at of the night, guys. Selo did not play Metera, so we only have 2, but now we have to watch both of them fight. And regardless, at the end of it, we will be 1 Metera less, but these sets have been really interesting lately. Like, we've seen Nekotech kind of pull out ahead in this and, like, manage to overtake Senpai in a couple of situations. And, you know, like, at least for the mirror, I feel like this has gone in her way more recently than it has.
In general, like, this mirror looks so much fun.
I don't know that fun is the word I would use here, but I understand how you could, like, piece the A to B to C on that.
Okay, I'm a known enjoyer of, like, really challenging matchups.
I mean, I also enjoy a little bit of cringe, but that's beside the point. But speaking of besides the point, like, we saw a pretty strong showing really ahead in this first round for Nekotech, but Senpai starting to find his footing and really kind of lay the pressure on, especially like getting the knockdown, setting up Butterfly, and now the plus on block OD ready to make Metera, or ready to make Nekotech guess. But Nekotech doesn't have a whole lot of meter in this one, kind of in a bad situation to be in, but mashes out, calls out the empty jump, and now Nekotech has the pressure, but has to be careful, especially in terms of, like, Senpai has full meter on deck, a bad setup or a bad call out, and Senpai can just let SSP. And we've seen him do it too, like the master of the easy input, you know, OD making easy input everything way better. It was just like 100% a buff to Senpai. And you know, that's the thing of, like, in terms of this game, like in terms of, like, I think what Granblue set out to, like, what this game, like, set out to do outside of, like, get people to play the gacha is a lot of the systems are things that SenpaiSpyder has made good use of to, like, drastically improve himself as a player. You know, everyone jokes about he's the easy input Metera, he doesn't do normal quarter circles, but, like, he's the kind of player that the system in this game is designed to, like, enable, and, well, not enable, but, like, empower, and we see him do it. Yeah, and speaking of empower, man, like, empowering his way to a 1-0 in terms of this set.
I mean, the way I see it, if I'm losing to a player that is using exclusively easy inputs, it means I'm losing to a player that is choosing to get less damage on a lot of hits. So they're, like, outplaying the extra.
Yeah, like, definitely kind of finessing a little bit more than you'd think. And we see it, though, man. When Senpai hits you, like, even though his inputs may not be optimal, his damage definitely is.
Absolutely.
And now kind of getting the lead early and, like, finally managing to kind of... It was a little bit of a rough first round for Senpai until it wasn't. And now, like, looking a lot more comfortable in these sets.
Oh, that butterfly. Oh, got the cross up.
And that's the thing, like, Senpai has, like, a setup for every situation. We see it there, like, I think that, like, the level of depth in his toolkit and his ability to, like, make use of all Metera's tools are a big part of, like, what makes him effective. We talk about, you know, like, easy input does have, like, a penalty, does have some things that aren't perfect, but Senpai using every trick in the book to overcome it regardless.
Battle 2, engage.
And now, Nekotech kind of firing back, finding our first round of the set. You know, we saw that first round, the first game was fairly close between the two of them, and then Senpai just kind of ran amok the next one, but Nekotech finally finding her a little bit of her footing, but unfortunately, like, the situation goes a little bit wrong, and now she's kind of in the corner having to guess against the same pressure she's used to putting out, but, you know, finds the bust out, manages to kind of retake the screen control, and now Senpai's having to play to her too, and he hits him with a little bit of his own medicine with, like, the booty OD. This is a bad place for Senpai to be in. Doesn't have as much meter to bust out. Nekotech, oh my god. That was such a wild conversion from Nekotech. Manages to touch it out.
And being ready to hit on the wrong side and still finish out the combo, that is some character mastery right there.
Yeah, it really was. But now, up 1-1, kind of seeing... I'm curious to see what the adaptation from Senpai is, because I felt like what happened in that last set, a lot of things that kind of were just like, one situation went wrong, or a little bit of his pressure kind of got called out in the correct way, and Nekotech just ran away with it. Like, a lot of her pressure and a lot of her setups just kind of put Senpai in a bad situation, and she managed to pull out from that, but... At this point, you know, this is back and forth, and, like, Senpai is definitely one of those players that, like, the longer this goes on, the more dangerous he's going to be.
Yeah. Great block on that.
This is what we're seeing too, is like Nekotech is really good about controlling the situation, controlling the space, and calling out specific things. Saw the 2U, noticed the OD, and was ready to call it out. We've seen Senpai get a lot of mileage out of that. Nekotech capitalizing. I don't think this is going to kill, but this puts Senpai in a really bad situation with low resources. Like, if he spends OD, he doesn't have that meter anymore, and like, especially right now, needs to be able to deal with that chip in terms of like everything that's going on. But the stray hit from Nekotech knocked him out of it, and now he's in a bad position.
Match point here for Nekotech.
Yeah, Nekotech kind of finding her footing again. We saw her play really strong really early on, and then Senpai just kind of found his, like, Senpai took over for a little bit, but Nekotech in these last couple of games has really kind of made the adaptations count, and like every time she finds a hit, she does so much damage. So now, that's kind of the thing I think that we've seen is like when one player is in control, it's just like, I'm going to put you in the corner and you're going to guess right or not. And now, like, Senpai tying it back up.
That was like the exact opposite of the previous round.
Absolutely. And they're taking it to last game, last round. And like, I'm curious to see just kind of what the final adaptations are, because each time, like, we've seen a couple of things
what a
just go
trade with the
differently.
sweep.
Oh, calls out the jump, but unfortunately kind of drops the follow-up there, but still has really good corner position, and like, especially with going into what could be the last game, an early half-life lead from Nekotech is nothing to should stick at.
Senpai bringing it back though, right here, holding that butterfly pressure.
Yeah, evening it up. Senpai sitting like right around 50, and Nekotech like probably around the 60s range, but that OD took a grip off, and now has to be really careful. But Senpai giving Nekotech a chase.
That's hurts.
Oh, that's dead. Gets the
Nekotech.
anti-air and calls it out. Nekotech making their way in the top 5th, like, or no, this is top 4. This is like a really good placing for Nekotech. I think this is the highest she's placed.
It's up there for sure.
Yeah, I've seen her talk about like not making this far before, and so that's what my basis has gone off on. But like, I don't have all this stuff in front of me. Please don't get mad at me. I'm just saying things over here. I'm walking.
We're just word sayers.
Yeah. And listen, like, next week, like, this is the last week of like me word saying into this Blue Yeti.
Oh,
Like, I'm looking at my new stuff right now, and like, I gotta learn how to use a preamp. So that's gonna be interesting.
It's not too hard. It's not too hard.
Yeah.
I've used that exact same setup before, so
I'm just gonna,
if you need it.
I will definitely appreciate that. But like, listen, I see there are 2 gain knobs. I'm just gonna crank those all the way up, and we're gonna. This is whatever happens after that is between me and God.
Fair enough. Who do we have next? Wavi and Umbi. Let's go.
Oh, this is gonna be really interesting. I wonder if Wavi's gonna like stick with the Metera pick, or if Wavi is just gonna kind of commit to like trying to win the bracket.
I don't know. Honestly, I think what happens with the Maturino might dictate that decision. I'm gonna be honest.
Yep. We have 3 codes remaining at the moment.
We do have 3. You know what? Hang on. I'm slacking tonight. Check this out. You ready? Check this shit out. Hang on. I gotta log in. All right. Check this shit out. You know what? Like, let's do a little something.
Dude, have a nice day. It's like those signs at like amusement parks where they're like, you gotta be this tall to ride. It's Maturino must be like this full to try hard.
All right. Let's just
But while Seth polishes off the codes,
I polished off 1 code, and I may have done a little something. Done a little something else.
oh wow, let's go. 25 into the pod, thank you.
Listen.
At the 104. So we're now 69.4% of the way to top 4 payout. And
Listen,
we had, yeah.
Nice.
We're within spitting distance of the 150.
Yeah, it was like $46, or sorry, $45.85.
Katalina versus
Who knows? That $45.85, it could come from you.
I think you did it. I think you hit the benchmark.
Yeah, we're cooking, man.
We got the CAG.
Yeah, I think at this point, like,
Yep.
I feel bad because like Wavi has like chosen violence here. I feel bad because like $25 is the breaking point. No more Metera. Gone. Dunzo. Get out of here. But this is the thing that I'm really curious to see is we've seen Umbi overcome matchups tonight that like she's the underdog. Like against Selo, a player who's like doesn't when he shows up always plays he's usually like like at worst is a top 8 player, and Umbi managed to overcome it. Like overcame the deficit, managed to make it count, but like it's a bad position to be in, especially against Cagliostro. You know, his character's got like 18 fuzzies, each for a different day of the week. Be really careful, but as the meter, oh, unfortunately, broken out, calls it out, gets the confirm. Wavi has to be really careful. Oh, that's Umbi unfortunately doesn't get the follow up. That would have been it, but has to be really careful now too. Oh, there it is. That's it. Umbi, no, my child, please. I love you. Stop. It's all right. We're good. Flushed it out, calling it out.
It only required the 4th game-winning hit.
That's all right. The 3rd one was the charm. The 4th one was the finish. Like, she had to put a little stank on it. But Umbi getting put into the full screen, getting the traps mid-screen. Wavi managing to carry it out, but Umbi, we've seen really like about 50% chance on these DPs so far from Umbi, but the night's young, friends. The night is young. That's what we saw. Like, went for the funny setup. Umbi hit the DP, but Wavi manages to kind of set it up in a way that the DP whiffs, and Umbi just, fortunately, like, even set. I think Wavi saw like 3 of those went real bad. She probably shouldn't try to risk it on another set, but gets the counter. That's the big thing too, especially about like the new changes from Cat, is that far L is so nasty because like,
oh my goodness, what a reaction to the trap set.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Umbi doesn't have the meter to cash it out.
No!
Oh, it's so bad.
Side switch, trap set.
Umbi has to be really careful. She has a life lead and can bleed just a little bit, especially since Wavi doesn't have anything for super, but at this point, like, Umbi has to be really careful and like make her hits count. She can't let a raw DP rip or it could be the game for her.
Oh, what? Oh.
Umbi taking the first game, manages to play the fireball game out really well, lets the EX fireball rip, especially after conditioning with a couple of different ones. So that was really smart on her behalf, but this is going to be this is where things are going to be interesting because Wavi, especially like losers bracket Wavi is a different animal, especially considering like we've seen very consistent tournament play. Wavi, you know, we talked about Xerom being like winning at least a third of these. Wavi's probably got a second third of that. So in terms of like an opponent you have to be careful and like do not want to like play around with. This is not the one to do it.
Oh. Yep. Got caught probably throwing a fireball.
Yeah, that was just a really unfortunate situation for Umbi to be in, just because of Wavi had so much on deck, and you know, like 2 hits would have definitely won for Umbi, but like getting that hit and like having to navigate metered options was just a bad position. So she had to be right, and unfortunately she wasn't.
Oh, bad DP going straight to the corner here.
Yeah, bad DP going straight to the corner, and just like
cleared the trap. This really limits Kag's pressure.
And that's the thing right now is Umbi has to be really careful because, you know, these DPs are starting to get blocked. They're starting to get noticed. And, you know, every single one of those that Umbi hits is like catastrophic damage. We've seen Wavi just hit for so much each time. And that's what I was talking about is, you know, we've seen Umbi kind of took a strong lead and was able to really make hits count where they mattered, but now Wavi's starting to get a feel for it and starting to get a feel for Umbi's habits, and like those DPs have become so costly, especially in that last game.
Oh wow. Nice, got the crowd confirmed. 2-0 in the universal overhead on counter hit. This is going to be so much damage.
Yeah, this is not the situation that Wavi wants to be in, but Umbi kind of Manages to take the corner. This is a better position, especially now that Umbi has to like really slowly work her way out, because the moment, like, the position she's in, like, Wavi has a lot of resources to really make a straight hit count, so Umbi can't risk, like, a bad DP or, like, a bad defensive block, because here it comes. It's gonna hurt, too. Gets the air trap, goes for the setup. Wavi doesn't get anything off of it, and Umbi manages to mash out a little bit, but now has to be careful. Gets the 2U. He's dead.
Wow, it's death.
Yeah, that there was no way that wasn't gonna kill. That was a single hit confirm into it.
Got baited.
Yeah, baits the DP like the last second too. That was so unfortunate.
Got punished there.
And unfortunately, it looks like Umbi's just getting a little bit frustrated. We've seen a couple of instances where she clearly should have had it, just not go the way she needs it to, and now, like, especially kind of with her back against the wall, like, this is make or break, and it looks like she's crumbling a little bit. But we've seen it, though. Like, she's proven me wrong on this, and she's done it plenty of times. Like, we've seen, you know, Umbi get put in a bad situation and then get the perfect confirm and just smoke it out. But a long hill to up climb, especially kind of with some of the pressure that Wavi's putting on. And like really good usage of like CAG 2M to control space. And now with the traps up, like Umbi is running out of health to chip away.
Oh, and that does it. Level
Yeah,
1 rock.
unfortunately it gets zoned out, and that's one of the things that Wavi was doing that's like really smart in this matchup is like we saw different iterations, like kind of the jump back, the general jump rock, and like general hit charge from it. And that's just kind of that's the thing you have to be aware of is like, especially when CAG has the lead, she has a lot of options really just to kind of mess with you and toy with your emote, like toy with your reactions. And we saw it there, just the multiple different rocks, the traps on deck, Umbi having to navigate all those, and eventually it just kind of caught up with her.
Mm-hmm. And like the variation on Wavi, or on the spear timings.
Yeah, that's the big thing about Cagliostro too, is like on top of everything else, you're having to navigate like rock, spear, trap, teleport. Like all of her tools are really good at messing with your mental stack and just baiting a bad call out. And it just, when it goes wrong so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to blow up the room to make it first to 3 because we're headed to winners finals.
Yeah, it's a good thing you did that. You know good and well if they would have just mashed into it. It happens every week.
It does. I like the French bread lobbies because you can change it while people are like waiting, and I wish you could do that in Arxis lobbies.
Yeah, it's wild how French bread is so good. Like I know that Melty Blood has had its struggles, but like when you think about just like everything that game does, it's so just.
Yep.
It should be so much bigger than it is, and I think it's just kind of with how divisive early Lumina was, like, did not help alongside some of the very small technical issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a believer that like if the current state of Lumina was the launch version, the game would just be massive.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
I mean, as massive as something like. As massive as something as a product called Melty Blood could be.
I mean
that is you got to be built different to play that game. To be fair,
I mean, I guess kind of my reasoning is like a lot of people got into Granblue Fantasy Versus because of the gacha, and now that like half of the Melty Blood cast is a fake Go character.
I mean, yeah, it is.
I think it'd be sizable. I think if the rollback had worked correctly at the get-go, I think the community would easily be like 5 times bigger than it is.
Yeah, and even then, like it's still got like a fairly dedicated community to it.
Yeah, absolutely. The people that play that game, they pull up.
Speaking of pulling up, Xerom bringing out the counter pick. We've seen this a couple times. We see it against like Cagliostro, and we see it against characters like Percival. Characters that traditionally give Charlotta a lot of trouble, but MBK calls out the dive kick. My man's is ready for it.
Oh yeah, I love that little walk back. Oh, was able to obliterate that suction before it was able to delete the projectiles.
Yeah, unfortunately for MBK, wasn't close enough to really get the follow-up on that, but doesn't matter. Xerom goes for the teleport, MBK mashes out and immediately goes into super. This is not a position Bubs needs to be in, especially considering the strikes throw mix and the fact that you have to deal with Percy having a command throw.
Wow, the mash right there.
Something he doesn't need, by the way.
Battle 2. Engage.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in Percival's kit that, as I've been learning him, I wonder why it was given to him, but you know, I'm not really complaining.
Yeah, this character is like really interesting in terms of just all the stuff that he can do that he probably shouldn't be able to do. And I really like kind of some of the ways that Xerom is playing around in this matchup, like the way he's been using Rush and the way he's been using kind of some of the options just to kind of close the distance. Like, I don't think that Beelzebub in this matchup necessarily has to worry about like some of the kind of approach issues that other characters do, but we see MBK just really use his options and his defensive tools well to kind of just keep out and like punish to punish like options to just brute force your way in, like EX teleport, or sorry, EX dive kick and teleport. But now MBK kind of taking a quick first game and now having to work his way back through. And goes for the spot dodge on the Karma. Unfortunately, like at the range where it didn't work out, and manages to get mashed in on, but. Xerom taking a pretty good lead. MBK now having to work his way in and like play this game matchup. And unfortunately, we've seen Xerom get so much mileage from Karma off this, just like getting some stuff from him and like being able to deal with
it. Nice. A little bit of chip damage, but now the DP takes it.
Battle 2.
Interesting. Good DP call out on that. Doesn't have the cooldown now.
Didn't get stalks though, probably because it was kind of a weird hit and wasn't sure enough on the OP.
Yeah, that was one of those things where like I think I understand MBK's decision making on it, but just kind of we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah, that one's just gonna get corner carry.
Oh, goes for the command throw. Xerom's ready for it. Jumps out. Doesn't get a really good punish on it, unfortunately. The command throw from Percy does have like a pretty funny recovery, but still managing to kind of work his way through. We've seen Xerom like slowly make inches and gains into this matchup and like starting to work through it, and now like starting to look like a way different matchup. MBK is kind of overextending a little bit and getting forced to like make harder callouts and kind of work his way in rather than like a lot of the just very consistent games that we saw earlier. And there it is. We've like every single time that like Xerom has gotten like a fourth damage, we've seen him just go ahead and run Karma and it just clip MBK on the come in.
Yep. Already tied up 1-1.
Battle 1. Engage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really curious to see kind of what this set would look like, especially once I saw a character on screen. Now that it's going back and forth, you know, it's starting to look like Xerom's momentum on this, because we see like kind of these small changes in like a lot of the ways that he's approaching are a little bit different, and it's causing MBK to lose a lot of the screen control that he used to do well in the first game.
Yeah, part of that being like varying the timing with the dives by using M dive versus H dives. Like it's really messing with MBK's DPs, mixing up the suction timings between H and M as well. A lot of small things here that are just like making it hard for MBK to get started.
Yeah, this has been like a really interesting set in terms of just watching these two play, because the small changes and everything going on right now are just kind of
like right there. MBK caught wind of the delay and delayed the DP enough.
And we've seen it like when MBK gets started, when he gets the hits going on, like he hits for so much, but Xerom has really just kind of like played the hit and run game well enough, and every time like he gets the life lead and forces MBK to try to extend, he just punishes it so Speaking of punishing effectively, MBK finally starting to find a little bit better rhythm for the EXDPs and manages to kind of turn things over, but Xerom, not one to lay down, goes for it. And unfortunately, gets the DP after it. Bit of an input error. MBK capitalizes and takes the round.
Yeah, he's really catching on to the timing that Xerom is showing.
It's interesting, and like the small adjustments from these two players over this set, I think the big things that have kind of like seen how the obviously like the small changes determine how the matchup goes, but like each little small adaptation from these players has had such like a drastic change in terms of like the flow of the set. Like we saw Xerom take like a pretty strong lead in terms of the last 3 rounds.
Single hit,
yeah,
no.
Unfortunately whiffs. I think when I saw that, I was like, ah, that's a little bit too high. This isn't gonna hit the way it needs to.
I love those little like 2Ls, 5Ls, like saying if someone is like flinch reacting or if they're actually looking for specific moves.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing that Xerom caught on to pretty early with this set, is just like understanding when MBK is like flinch reacting or making other things, but what's not reacting is those hit confirms. MBK taking it up 2-0. I'm curious to see, like, we don't see MBK in this bracket too often. I think his schedule just kind of conflicts with it, but every time he does show up, I mean, it's pretty solid showing. And this could, the way things are going, like, I could definitely see like this coming down to like Xerom and Grants and
Yeah, we got the punish here, going all the way to the corners. Yeah, keep the plus frames going.
Now has the corner, unfortunately doesn't get the stinger, and now Xerom has a chance kind of to recapture the set. It had the lead, but it has to be really, or has to be like, has to be a little bit more consistent with his options, especially because like a bad hit from Xerom, it's over for MBK, but the good hit for MBK and it's over for Xerom going up to set point. And that's the thing I talked about earlier with like Percy does so much damage just off like a single button.
In here with the dock charge? What?
He did, and it worked. It's been a minute since I've seen that option, but unfortunately MBK's had a couple of really bad instances where it looks like he's gotten confirmed and it just does not go well. Closes it out, gets the hit in the confirm, and MBK like going into grands on. This is the first time I've seen his Percy, and obviously like it's been a minute since we've had a WASD bracket, and this is the only ones I'm watching at the moment. But really strong showing from MBK so far. Like he's managed just to hold his own and like work really well in this bracket.
What do we have now? Professor Nekotech and Wavi? Let's go.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, we're getting the run back. We saw these two play very early on in the bracket, and Wavi took it, I believe, 2-0? What was that?
Yes, it was 2-0.
It was 2-0.
Played
and then
6, I believe, right?
Yeah, played 6 in that matchup. So I'm curious to see exactly kind of what the adaptations from Nekotech are and what we're going to see, because Wavi managed to win with like a secondary. Still has the Blile on deck, still has the Cagliostro on deck, has a lot of options in terms of like what we're going to see, and also has, I believe, so this is the last first of 2 we're going to have of the night. And now, you know, that can be really explosive for both of these characters.
I don't think we're going to see the CAG from Wavi. I would not be surprised if we see 6 again.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the 6.
Metera versus Cagliostro.
We're seeing Cagliostro.
Oh my god, I was completely wrong. I was convinced. I feel like so many CAG players don't necessarily like playing into Metera that much.
No, and Wavi's been on record saying she does not like this matchup, but I'm curious to see her play it out, especially like she had a successful counter pick earlier, so maybe she just feels like she doesn't need it.
Could be. And right now, very slowly walking Nekotech down the corner.
Yeah, managing to control the screen space and like, get her in the corner early, but Nekotech, seeing a good gap manages to mash up, now has screen control and the screen pressure, especially with butterflies up. But Wavi getting the neutral jump and working out of it, now has back to the screen control. But we've seen, one of the things we've seen here really here is Nekotech get aggressive with like the top end and especially like to a certain point. It's been really good for her reclaiming the neutral and reclaiming pressure options from Wavi.
Right now, Wavi can definitely make the next hit like really impactful, but it hurts right now. Like she doesn't have a lot of damage on the board. It's all been chip damage.
Yeah, at this point,
There we go.
everything we've seen here is Wavi or Nekotech like really leveraging and like running with it and then just slowly chipping down. But now it's a bad position to be in. It's not.
Oh, that killed?
No, it activated the trap afterward, which killed.
Battle 2, engage.
That is
That
such
was an insane round.
Yeah, that was a really good comeback from Wavi, especially about Disastrous, the early parts of that game where we saw a lot of options where she just kind of got pushed into a bad situation. Unfortunately, speaking of a bad situation, misjudges the range on the trap and doesn't get the follow-up, but it's managed to keep the pressure high, which I think is... Without the traps directly on Metera or like having something to make her block, like solely using the net pressure has controlled this very well. And now has the fully charged rock, has the pressure able to go up there. It's just letting the far age and those rock charge go wild against Nekotech. Wavi playing super disrespectful. Sees the far age and calls it out. Wavi taking
this round was like the exact opposite of the previous one.
Yeah, taking a
Believe in victory.
quick game
Battle
1-2.
1, engage.
See here now, like Wavi has the first game, has a little bit of options, especially like that first game is so important too because like we saw Wavi's time, playing it out with Cag, trying to make it count with the main. But even if she goes down, like she has a game for boost where she can immediately switch to 6 and not have to worry about Nekotech like trying to counter pick or trying to change something up or her fault.
Yep. Oh, what a good kill.
Oh, very good spatial awareness in terms of combo routing. Goes for kind of the cheeky reset into the pressure situation, and Nekotech not biting, but Wavi has such a life lead to play around with, and Nekotech has to be really careful about where and when she does hit.
Life lead, meter lead, next thing, like next real hit kill.
They definitely can and has to be really careful, and this is getting really bad for Wavi doesn't find the counter, or doesn't find the punish. Nekotech, realizing she got away with murder, immediately pops OD. Wavi goes for the run-up, UOH, and Nekotech bites. Unfortunately, gets counter hit. Wavi on match point.
Battle 2, engage.
Accepts the butterfly. Strong pressure, do it again. Caught the lucky jump.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like Metera has a couple of different options in terms of her approach to it. Call out your defensive options. Her jumping in, hitting twice is a really good option for people who want to do bad fuzzy blocks and just manage to blow it up.
All you gotta do is delay that jump on.
Yeah, has to delay the jump in. Calls out the bad up arrow and manages to put Nekotech in the corner. Has the EX trap, or has the trap up, has the space control. We've seen Wavi do really well in these situations, but Nekotech was ready for this time and manages to mash out. And now we're seeing a little bit of Wavi kind of trying to maintain mid-screen pressure, but Nekotech edging it.
Wow. And straight into the hula hoop and a frame trap.
Yeah, Wavi's really good with like the significant runs and like making her options. I think goes for the OD, catches Nekotech, and just gets the SBA to finish it out. Wavi going into the losers finals against Xerom. So we see it here. Wavi has like really good corner control and has like a lot of options really to bust out. And the situation that she put in, like set up the meaty safe jump, had everything kind of ready to bait the OS, did the 2L 5L 5+G option and just got it, managed to OD and then got the super confirm for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Wavi Xerom.
That's gonna be really interesting. Too.
All the rest of these, our top 3. Let me actually pull up the bracket really quickly. Just take.
I'm curious if Xerom's gonna stick to the Charlotta or if we're gonna see more of the Bubs.
I feel like against Wavi we'll probably see the Charlotta, but I don't know. I was wrong just a moment ago, and I was like, "There's no way we're gonna see the CAG." So.
Yeah, we've been wrong before.
Yeah.
But you know what? Wavi showed us that she doesn't need the 6 to beat Metera's. She can just go CAG.
True. Defeat MBK who's stealing my color.
Tega coming in being a massive hater. This is completely unsurprising from someone who drove all the way back to an event this week, specifically like to gatekeep people in Street Fighter 6.
He won 2 motherboards.
He did. They're Gigabyte, so they belong effectively in the trash, but you know.
I had 1 good experience with a Gigabyte board and 3 bad experiences. But you know what? That one good board lasted me 5 years.
Every single Gigabyte product I have had has died within 3 months.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I will not buy them again.
Believe in victory. Battle 1.
Engage. So I'm curious here. We saw Xerom playing Bubs for Percival and Cagliostro. I'm surprised we're not seeing it against Cagliostro, where that character has like a very good matchup.
Yeah, this might just be a player thing. Like, you know what? Charlotta's tools might just be a little bit stronger against Wavi.
And I think the other side of that too is Wavi does have really strong picks for Beelzebub in terms of 6, in terms of Belial. So I can see maybe why Xerom wanted to just go ahead and fight it out, but at this point, Xerom managing to really kind of take the pace in this set, and now has Wavi basically in a checkpoint situation.
Yeah, these rocks don't do anything. Xerom's an OD, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you really have to be careful because like Wavi manages to pop it. I don't think it's gonna hit.
No,
You
have a lot of time to do that. If you're like, keep in mind if you're outside of the OD range or like just outside of it, you have enough time to dash up and do a close range.
Absolutely. Yeah, I forgot just how minus OD is on whip. So yeah, you know what? Thinking about it now, you're right.
Yeah, it feels less minus when you have to recover from like dodge phase. If you're not recovering from nothing, you got all day.
And speaking of all day, Xerom does not have all day and is like playing hyper aggressive and making it count versus Wavi. He wants that run back.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
Good call out. Xerom tried to call out the backdash, gets caught in the traps from Wavi, and now, fortunately, trade goes wrong. Xerom has the momentum again, and Wavi's in the corner. In the corner versus Charlotta, no traps out. Xerom had the far H ready to go. Punished the trap pull, and now Wavi's in a guess what situation.
Great backshift throw.
Yeah, that was a really good call out, especially against kind of some of the demon flip options. I don't even like. I think that probably would have beaten command flow, so very good call out from Wavi, but fortunately, it doesn't matter too much. Xerom ready to strike back and manages to go up to the next round.
Oh wow, that was really smart. It didn't lead to anything, but I really like just the run up and parry against the back.
Yeah, Xerom, when Xerom kind of has like a feel for your defense and has a way that he thinks to get in. So, and he'll just run with it. He's very confident in his call out. We've seen him use it. Like, my man's uses SBA as a call out for a lot of things, but I don't think he'd do it if it didn't work out.
Oh, nice. Waited for the... What? That... I feel like that was supposed to be a backshift and a turn into rush. It just happened to work out.
Yeah, unfortunately. Really good awareness from Wavi managing to point out and take care of it. Like, I really like some of the decisions. And Wavi definitely, I don't know that I would necessarily say that she's like... I don't think she's a slow start, but she's definitely someone that, like, I think her adaptations in a lot of ways that she handles matchups, like, the longer some things go on, the more just, like, cognizant and insane she is.
Right here.
Oh, with the perfect Wavi swinging back. That looked like a really bad situation coming from the start from Wavi, but, you know, managed to kind of, like, dig in, put her foot down, and bring it back. Now tied up 1-1.
No, gets blocked. Yep. Goes over the corner.
Gets the corner control. Goes for the spear. Goes for the safety. Oh, no Granblue handshake. GG's. Unfortunately, I don't know if that was a setup or just cheating, but manages to go up around. Things are looking a little bit different. At this point, Xerom kind of starting to swing back, gets the momentum really early on, and now has Wavi in the corner. And we've seen, like, when Xerom really gets the set play going, like, in his zone, that corner, getting the throw knockdown, making you guess off the edge of the key, like, we've seen him so consistently how he closes out like that. We're seeing it now, very confident in just trying to deal with the run in. Oh, Wavi ready for it. Gets the spot dodge, goes for the damage, and now has corner control. He's a bad place for Xerom to be. He has a lot of options to really deal with it. Oh, gets the throw. That's it.
Turn her into a statue.
Now,
and I see what you're saying about Wavi's, like, you know, slow but sure adaptations over the set, starting to really catch momentum here.
And we're seeing it now, like, what'll happen is Xerom will take, like, a pretty solid move, like, really early on, or, like, get a good pressure sequence. But Wavi's composure in terms of, like, getting her setups and, like, making specific hits count have carried her so far in terms of how this matchup is. And we're seeing it right now to, like, some really specific callouts on some of their own towers. Like, the use there was, like, a very good, nuanced air callout on the ball that looked for a couple of different options. And now we're seeing just on it. And Wavi going on to match point. Sorry, set point. Xerom has to make a couple of adaptations or else things are going to get really bad in this tournament life right now. But I say that, Xerom immediately is in that corner, has the immediate setup options. Wavi, though, Fuzzy jumps out and goes for the call out. Doesn't get much of a punish off of it, but still in a good place right now. Goes ahead and burns the... Xerom goes ahead and burns a lot of options. Yeah, this was a checkmate situation, unfortunately. I don't know if Wavi could have gone ahead and OD'd there, but I think it was just kind of a risky option in terms of, like I said, that was basically a checkmate situation. And call it as you see it, Xerom finally starting to find the footing. And, like, this is what we talked about earlier. Like, Xerom's set playing, like, comfort, like, dealing with the corner and, like, maximizing that advantage has been really good. And now, you know, managed to, like, very quickly make the headway back into the set. But Unfortunately, situation goes wrong. Xerom falls into Cagliostro stuff, and Wavy's optimization and being able to properly capitalize off her hits has paid dividends to kind of even this back up. Like, she's still on set point.
Nice. The confirm into the holy ladder there to make sure the hard knockdown.
Tries to go ahead and deal with and get out of the OD range. Unfortunately, gets clipped by it, and now has to deal with Charlotta chip out.
Oh, great. Waited for the rush. No punish or anything, but just not letting the rush actually connect is huge.
I think this is a really good strategy from Wavy too, is like immediately gets the pushback and kind of forces Xerom to work their way in. Xerom does have OD, but like each stray hit, especially at the range that Wavy's playing at, will take that away. And I think there's only about one more hit left for Xerom to take before we leave. Nope, I was wrong. Yeah, that's basically it. Wavy choosing not to engage after that, backing off, not wanting to deal with it, but Xerom no longer has OD. Wavy has a little bit more breathing room and meter. Good call out. Wavy has to guess, or Xerom has to guess, has to be careful, but Wavy choosing not to really engage and like get more pressure, but now Xerom has the life lead.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a bad position to be in. I think Wavy went in, kind of tried to probably get it up, didn't realize that there was thought there was more push ball or more plus frames on advantage than there was, and unfortunately Xerom just And so now we're curious to see exactly what Wavy's changes were. We saw a little bit in that, and I think kind of the options that were with Metera and how everything went just didn't go to Wavy. We saw like really smart decision-making options to deal with like easy ways for Xerom to clinch out a victory there. And just like a couple of things didn't work out, and speaking of not working out, Xerom goes for the grab, lifts it, Wavy lifts right back, manages to capitalize and confirm on it. Xerom.
How about match point for Xerom?
Yeah, managing to make his way back. Such a dangerous situation to work your way out in, but Xerom piece by piece, bit by bit.
Great teleport out of the corner. Gets caught setting some traps. All momentum right now for Xerom.
Goes for the raw parry, and we'll see like Xerom's really good at kind of leveraging that parry, because Charlotta parry itself is like got a pretty small amount of recovery. It's hard to really deal with it. Yeah, that's it. Xerom manages to come back, takes it 3-0 over Wavy. Excellent composure on his end. So many moments where Wavy was just right there, and now it's just unfortunate, and now like manages to run back. With that said, Xerom going for the rematch against MBK. For those of you, if this is your first tournament watching, we are going to grand finals. MBK has to win 1 3 out of 5 set to claim the tournament. Xerom will have to win 2, 1 to put MBK into losers, and 1 more to eliminate him.
Yep. That is the privilege of the person on winner's side, because they have not lost a single match yet.
Tega, my stick goes to neutral, and any Brook board stick or any Brook board hitbox that has been updated will also do that. The Capcom changes that just got announced really only affect the branded hitbox.
Yeah, they don't affect anything using the Brook boards.
Wait,
yeah, the Brook.
What happened?
Capcom published an like an SCOD, I think it's SCOD, change basically saying that if you hold down and up, it has to register as neutral. It can't register as up.
Oh yeah, that is how Hitbox does things.
Yeah.
That is also the default of Brooks boards, but you can very easily
can
change
swap
the setting.
it, yeah. But before we hop into grand finals really quick, I'm gonna make one more call for the Matcherino. See if we can hit top 4 payout. Bring Nekotech into the money. We're roughly like $45-ish out of the way. 45 and what? 47 cents?
Yeah, we've gone up about like 30 cents. So I'm gonna need you guys to kind of. I know I'm asking a lot. So I really need you to, bring it in. Let's get us that top 4. Nice little payout.
Yeah, just $1 here and there. It really adds up.
Yeah, like if 40 people donate $1, we only need $5 more.
True.
I did the math. Listen, if we get 40 people to donate a single dollar to bring us up there, I'll put that last 5 in. I don't care.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times with Granblue, we've had Grand himself come by a few times and just toss money into the pot.
I think I figured out who Grant. I think I figured out who Grant is, but
I like having this grand fellow be a bit of a mystery.
Alright, going into grand finals, MBK on winner's side, sticking with the Percy, Xerom making a choice, like going ahead and sticking with the Charlotta this time. The Beelzebub pick didn't work out the way he would have liked it last time. I know he doesn't necessarily like this matchup, but especially after the last match, you know, Xerom's good and warm on Charlotta, going ahead and working with it. Like, I understand his plans. So. And now, like, at this point, you know, Xerom starting to take a little bit more of a push. This set is looking a lot. MBK, a lot of things happening, you know. We see a couple of small adjustments from Xerom, which was like how he was using Karma. But good clash call out from MBK. Unfortunately, loses the EXDP. That was such a nasty interaction. Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah, Percy's super has like almost no invuln. It's gonna lose to any VP.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like that was it. That was one of the big nerfs for Percy Super. Is like you used to just be able to use that to cut through damn near anything, and now like they toned that back a lot.
Yeah, honestly, for the best.
Yeah, there's one less god who he has. Still got like 5 of them.
I do remember seeing like some season 1 footage of Percy's DP like clear cutting through projectiles half screen. Oh, nice back throw.
Goes for the SBA. Unfortunately, wasn't able to charge it in time. And Xerom taking the first game. This is definitely looking a little bit more optimistic, and I'm curious, like, if we're going to see a switch from MBK. It's like he's been playing the Percy, he's doing pretty well, but I could definitely I think my man sees that pot and is like, right now it's only for top 1, right?
Top 3.
Oh, top 3. Well, my man's still seeing like that's at least like a good $60 as it is right now. Like my man's trying to. I really like some of it. So one thing I do like that Xerom's doing in this set is Percy does have a really good anti-airs against Charlotta, but Xerom's been really good about not necessarily burning EX, Demon Flip, but using it in a different way, using like the regular versions in a way to alter his jump timing so that way it's hard for MBK to react. And so, yeah, and that's how it is right there. We just saw it, like using the helm splitter and using all these different options really just to kind of control the pacing better. Like really good, like really smart from Xerom, kind of adapting around like one of his character's natural weaknesses against Percy. But busting out, goes for the meaty EX. MBK not ready for the meaty OD, and now has to kind of be really careful. Doesn't have the ability to necessarily easily chip Xerom out. But we've seen MBK do a lot just on a single hit confirm, and like you see it, that far M is just coming out bit by bit by bit.
Yeah, and the fireball here does it. And it's a pretty tough spot because that's also a point where MBK could have potentially just thrown out Raw Rush, like literally anything.
Yeah. And MBK finally started to find his footing a little bit. Like, we see a couple options where the first game, Xerom was really aggressive in bullying him, and now MBK is like controlling the pace a little bit and making those jump-ins and those just nasty options from Xerom a lot harder to do this.
almost wanted to punish the stock charge.
Yeah, and MBK now is at a point where like it's going to be a little bit risky just to raw throw out far H because of ball. But MBK is has the life, so you can probably turtle up a little bit and just wait for like a bad over Xerom and make it count. But has 4 stocks, pressing the advantage a little bit. Like I'm curious to see kind of what MBK. That's it. No, it's not. Gets the far H punish. MBK tying it up.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
So currently sitting 1-1. MBK making the person thing rock. Gets the anti-air. No meter spent, but gets the corner swap, which I think is a really good option. And now we're seeing it. Xerom not using as many different jump options this to go around, and it's just MBK is ready. So he's someone that I would specifically like categorize by how consistent their anti-airs are. MBK is really good at like he sees something, he'll easily input DP, but most of the time like he is very consistent to hitting that like 2H and the 2-1-4 combo.
Air to air. Yeah, immediately get that knockdown. Walk out. Got the awkward ground hit 2H. And pays the price.
Rare footage of Charlotta 2H working.
Battle 3. Engage.
But at this point, like, now we're seeing a little bit of it come back. We saw MBK kind of like reestablish his anti-airs in terms of that, and now we're seeing Xerom kind of be a little bit more frisky in terms of like how he uses 2-2-X. But MBK still controlling space really well with the far H and like using it to control the scene. It's really good. One of the things that I think is really kind of cinched things for MBK in terms of just how he plays this matchup is like how he's leveraging his screen control.
Oh my god.
Oh, catches it, calls it out. Oh, I didn't think that was gonna kill because it looked like he did easy input.
Yeah,
but
air hits are always so tricky too.
Battle 1. Engage.
But potentially last game. One of the 2H wasn't quite fast enough. Oh, nice. Oh no! No punish either way. Back to neutral.
Let's see it. Loses the 2H anti-air. Xerom managing to kind of regain some momentum, and now goes for the jump throw bait and manages to get the cross up. Now it's time, and now gets the corner control. Xerom still fighting for life, but has a long hill to climb up even as things stand. Round star EX ball beats Percy Fireball, and now MBK's in the corner, slowly poking his way out. But has to be careful, especially like this is where we've seen Xerom do so much. Like it's so much. Yeah, that was a really. Like I said, this is the place we've seen Xerom do so much work in terms of like how much he's won tonight. At least he gets that corner left work. But now, like MBK having to be really careful too, especially like with the threat of EX ball on screen, and you saw it right there. Like, he's very comfortable just slowly working his way out. Goes for the command throw. Xerom's ready for it though.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a fuzzy jump or just a holding up, but either way, Xerom was right on the money, able to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it, like, the momentum shifts in this have been really interesting because we saw early on Xerom being really strong, and MBK take like a very consistent 2 rounds, and now Xerom's slowly working his way back. Looking like we're probably gonna... We
might be getting a reset here.
Yeah, that's the right way to say it. I'm not trying to commentate or curse no one.
Alright, match point for Xerom.
Battle 2.
2 more rounds and MBK still takes this bracket.
Yeah, this is not over for MBK by any means, and especially like this character hits hard. A couple of bad decisions from Xerom, and this can go real south real quick, and we're seeing them now. Like MBK has been really good about kind of leveraging Percy's 2H to do real damage in this matchup, and gets the punish on the DP, managing to even things up. MBK has the chance to take this to match point, but has to be really careful in terms of how he approaches the rest of this. Oh, this is bad. Gets the rush confirmed, puts Xerom in the corner, and now this is where MBK wants to be. This is where his buttons are going to screen control the best, but he's going to be able to like really control the air, and this is not where Xerom wants to be.
Any button to rush can do it. And now, Charlotta SSBA.
Oh, goes for the fuzzy setup, gets the block button into the jump view, and Xerom managing to reset it.
Yep.
We're going to see a game. Taking a quick breather, letting the players kind of get a second to work through.
Charlotta versus.
And we'll go from there.
You know, I had no idea that Charlotta could double overhead like that.
Yeah, that's tech we've seen Xerom make really good use to. It comes out like, I feel like he really uses it to like close stuff out. And also, man, ABK confident in the burst, he's like sticking with it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the home slitter, really good at catching 2Hs.
And this kind of mid-screen game that we've seen from MBK, he's just controlling the spacing with like a really good bar usage, really good bar H use. Oh my gosh. There was like a split second where I was like, surely that's somehow Charlotta's going to win this, and then it...
No, it's not. Right, first round of the reset.
I really like MBK's commitment to this character too, and like it's not like that last game was necessarily a free win, and it's not like it's tournament was a free win. Like MBK took that like, to the wire on this, and both of these sets, all of these sets have been really close. So I'm just curious. And now, back at the corner, kind of where MBK wants to be, and we've seen Xerom, though. MBK will throw a bad fireball, and Xerom's ready with the 2-2X to kind of reclaim the space and, like, force MBK to really deal with where he's at. And, like, it's those small scramble situations, those small jumps that we see Xerom really get his pressure going, that I think, like, those are the situations where he's gotten a lot of mileage and a lot of damage on MBK. Like, we'll see MBK play, like, really confident in the mid-screen. Xerom will get the knockdown and just go for the nasty stuff. It's really taking far.
Yep. And we see the results of landing a command zone neutral.
Yeah, MBK kind of having to like hold down and like just deal with some Xerom's pressure, being very patient with matchup. Doesn't want to catch like a straight button, but this is it.
That's going for sure.
No, he went for easy input. Goes for easy input, minus but safe into the DP. Classic.
Yeah, I mean, the DP was going to chip out no matter what.
And one thing I actually really like is we saw MBK has kind of been changed a little bit up of how he uses the 2-1-4 aim setup where he goes for the heavy overhead. And, you know, the first time we saw him go for it, Xerom immediately jumped down. Ever since then, like, MBK is just using it to keep him locked down. And I think that's a really good option because Xerom, for a lot of things, like, really likes to use fuzzy jumps and use options to kind of get out of pressure. And so now MBK is, like, kind of responding to it and, like, making Xerom down back. And, like, MBK does have to spend a little bit of resources to kind of keep that pressure going, but we've seen it. Oh, doesn't go for the anti-air bait, just calls out and whip punishes. MBK can have pretty early start on this thing. Now, Xerom's in the corner. This is where he wants to be. Fortunately, Xerom goes for the grab, doesn't get the right confirm off of it. Now, MBK back in the control position where he wants to stay. Gets hit. Xerom busts out with the EX ball. Goes for the... Yeah, goes for the hard OG bait. Now Xerom's in a really good position. Gets the knockdown. MBK kind of has to guesses correctly, but now MBK slowly working himself out of the corner. Xerom has 100 meter. Oh, this is gonna trade, and unfortunately it trades in Xerom's favor. Charlotta SBA.
In those situations, it's like whoever reversals second wins.
And that's the thing, like, we've seen Zero make really good like decisions in terms of class situations. Like, saw that hit, saw the startup of NBK's VP, and then saw Zero and stuff come out. And like, I'm not necessarily sure if that was OS or if he can match it out, call it out, but really funny, just a really funny interaction. But Zero, I'm not wanting to go down without a fight, and especially like NBK getting an early lead in this setup. You know, that's going to be a lot. Like, we've seen Xerom overcome it before, but like a 2-0, especially like in the last minute, that's rough, especially against like this character.
And also a player like MBK.
Oh, MBK gets the hit, unfortunately doesn't. Gets the command throw, so this is it.
Yeah. If you're ever doubting your offense, it's Percy. Command throw.
And I don't want to sit here and look at you and say, like, Zerom's out of it.
No.
Zerom has a hell of a hill to climb right now, but it's doable. We saw him do it last game where MBK was, like, had pretty sizable leads. Now, MBK, back to the screen control, we saw him establish a lot of his. Gets the anti-air far range. Unfortunately, no counter hit and not just enough to really confirm off of it, but this gives him the spacing, it gives him the placing that he wants. Like, he's slowly pushing Xerom back in the corner to make sure that when he does get the hit, or the next time that Xerom goes for something, that hit's going to be bad, too. And we saw it right there. Got the lights into the stinger, and just Xerom is in a bad place. MBK mashing out, gets the super going to turn the corner.
Ultimately, like, fighting that character, you are trying to deny Percival resources.
Yeah, the second Percival has stock and has Charlotta. She's in a bad place.
Right here, it's already looking bad. Already at 50 meter, has 5 stocks. Percy has everything he needs to confirm anything into damage.
Yeah, the next good hit MBK gets is going to just put Xerom in the corner, and I say it gets the DP and goes for it. Safe jump setup, baits it. This is it.
Oh no!
Oh,
that would have been it.
Went for the heavy punish on that one. I think like the way Charlotta's DP is and the way that it recovered was really funky to get the right punish on it. Especially like MBK wasn't. MBK I think was crouching during the second half of that, so it was less minus. But it doesn't matter. MBK calling it out, closing it out. Going back, watching the replay here, and we kind of see exactly like what happened. Xerom will get the corner pressure, went for a minus but safe option, overextended, went for the jump. MBK was ready for it, called him out, hit the button, won the set.
And I mean that jump call out was an adaptation from earlier games, because we saw in the first set of grand finals a lot of times Xerom just cooking MBK trying to escape with that back jump. And this time, MBK was just ready for that air-to-air.
Yeah, and Percy, all of the Shotos have really funny, like, cross-up hitboxes in terms of their jump buttons, and, like, seeing that hit, I'm just like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
play the third strike sound beat.
MBK already beat me to it. I was going to shout out the match arena one more time. You already put the link there.
I love this man.
Oh, that's godlike.
I'm not even salty that my money's going to him. I respect this hustle.
One last call out, one last reminder that we have the match arena. We're a little under $40 away from top 4 payout. If you're sitting in chat, you have a few dollars in your Match Arena account, consider making a donation, help push us to top 4. That being said, if you got top 3, so MBK, Xerom, and Wavi, please make sure to join the Match Arena so I can pay all 3 of you out once this is over. In terms of upcoming stuff, tomorrow we have BlazBlue, 8 p.m. Ryer's going to host it. Then this Sunday we have Granblue Beginners. It's Swiss into single elimination. And Monday we'll have our Melty Tour will continue, which I think the season is actually almost over at this point. But you can find links to all of those in Discord or on our challenge page, if that's easier. You can kind of see all the brackets that we have made ahead of time. Our next offline is going to be April 29th at OS. I don't have the sign-up link, but we'll have Granblue there as usual. Granblue, Uni, Lumina, Strive, and probably Exerd. But off the top of my head, those are my like quick event shoutouts. Rurik and Seth, do you guys want to shout anything out?
I don't have anything. You can follow me at the Twitter link shown. Otherwise, I'm just gonna push it over to Rurik.
I want to shout out bonus round this coming weekend. Make sure to check that out. Like I said, we have a 72-person bracket for Granblue. Just quickly looking at like some of the players expected to make top 8. We have Zombie Moo playing offline. We have Skip. If you haven't seen Skip play, he is an unknown OD. Sora's insanely strong player. Garden Tool, you all know him. You all love him.
Oh, let's go.
We have K-Pow. We have Psychotic, Luishi, DMC Dante, and Goon. Like, we have a lot of really strong players pulling up to this bracket.
Where's this going to be streamed?
I believe it's going to be streamed at bonus round at their Twitch. Let me pull up the Twitch page.
I definitely want to watch that. That's this weekend, right?
Yeah, it is this coming Saturday.
Dude, I'm going to be double fisting that in Evo Japan. Like,
Yeah, me too.
just dual screening.
I'm already just like, I just got a pack of Monster. Like, it's just gonna be like,
Dude, I still have coffee left over from crossover. I got like, you
You
can kind
wanna-
of see it back
you
there.
wanna
You
ship
got
it-
some.
I'm gonna ship your local favorite they them some of that. Yeah. Take payment for those Beyblades.
Oh yeah,
Did those get used this weekend? Like, did they arrive in time for?
they did arrive in time. A couple people use them,
Good.
but
Yeah, I was seeing people like sing that coffee's praises over the weekend. That was sick.
Oh, La Colombe stuff is super good.
yeah, they sent us 1,050 cans, which is
Oh damn!
wild. Like they sent us a ton. Yeah.
It's like
That's
3.
awesome.
Heads up for anybody throwing events. La Colombe really wants to get into esports, so if you're looking for a sponsor for your event, you should definitely reach out.
I'll talk to our bonus round guys about it. See if we can make something happen because everyone in PNW loves their coffee.
But yeah, I guess those are my only shout outs. I always get told to plug my Patreon, so I'm gonna plug it. The Patreon exists. If anybody wants to sub and donate that way, there's a tier that's basically the equivalent of a Twitch sub, but Twitch doesn't take their 50%.
Yeah. That is the tier that I signed up for. It's only $5, and you know what? It helps Imp not lose money TOing. So
It does. That's my New Year's resolution. But let me see where I'm gonna send everybody. Who's streaming right now?
Who is streaming?
You know, take a streaming.
Yeah, let's...
Hey!
And
That
he's
works.
streaming Granblue. I'm gonna send everybody there. Since, you know, his color got stolen and then won grand finals.
which means it is now
And
MBK's
his color.
Exactly. He's gotta come claim it.
Gotta have the combo breaker money match.
But thanks again for everybody who came out. I'll probably see most of you Sunday. If not, I'll catch you next Wednesday.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.